So chat, I was thinking of like asking you to finish a sentence for me, but I'm honestly not sure like what the best answer would be. I don't know what the funniest answer would be, but you know what? I'm going to throw it out there anyways. Your truck, which by the way is basically a TARDIS because it's much bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. It breaks down on the side of the road in rural Indiana. You need help, right? And so you call a mechanic. But that mechanic turns out to be Boogie2988, who walks up to your car, you know, like with the mechanic's hat, the fucking red toolbox, the pants somewhat down around the butt crack area. And he offers to fix your car, right? What happens from there? Because in my head, that truck's not getting fixed. All right? That truck is absolutely not going any further than where it is on the side of the road. I feel like best case scenario, Boogie's just gonna get like upset. He's gonna like walk off and he's going to expect you to like PayPal him. And then he'll make a video about it. And then he'll make a video about how he needs to keep making YouTube videos because he can't make mechanics work. Anyways, hi everyone. Hey, there I am. Hey, there I am. My name is Graphistev. I'm the president of the Long Boy Club, the very large enjoyer of all things gaming, wrestling, other hyperfixations, and my stinky cat, who is chilling by the heater right now because, well, honestly, it isn't even that cold out anymore. We're a little bit beyond the ways of the cold snap over here in my neck of the woods. My neck of the woods. And I think he just likes being warm. I think he just likes soaking up the heat, which, you know what? Fine by me, because this side of the house is fucking atrociously hot. It's atrociously hot. It's too hot for the winter time, chat. It's too hot for the winter time. But yeah, hopefully everyone, there I am. Hopefully everyone is doing all right tonight. I'm doing pretty good myself. I will say, we are still in the process of remaking and adding some new emotes. There they are in chat right now, if you see them. I do not have myself visible in the chat tool that I have because I feel like that just kind of clutters things up. There they are, right there. Made by my good friends Mech and Phoenix Redtail. We got the Tism. We got the... You know what? Here. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna go right on over here and I'm gonna, like, full screen this shit. We're just gonna full screen this stuff. We don't need Smackdown versus Raw here right now. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, chat. What matters much more is the PlayStation 2 chill out music that we're gonna be just kind of vibing to while I talk your ear off here while we wait for people to come in. But yeah, I may as well go ahead and show off the incredible work of Phoenix Redtail and Mech. Obviously, we have the Tism here. We have them in static and in animated form now. I've been wanting something like him forever, chat. I've been wanting a real yippee guy forever. You know? And I'm so glad we finally got him. I'm so glad we finally got him. He is very much talk your ear off about wrestling until you tell him to stop coded. And even then, he won't stop. He won't. He will make you like it. Speaking of, we got some wrestling stories here that we're going to talk about. But first, holy shit, this is loud. Check it out. Okay, good. It's still so fucking loud. What? There you go. Jeez. Cool. Okay. But yeah, we got the tism. Let's see here. We have the new thinking emoji right here. Right here. Complete with the experimental feminine hands with gray nail polish. Because, honestly, chat, in the background, I've been experimenting with a bit more femininity. Personally, I am perfectly okay with...
Hello, Mario.
With my masculinity. Yippee! Hello, I play games sometimes. That is a real yippee guy there in the chat. But we also have the thinking emoji here. And, you know, like I was saying, I've been experimenting a bit more with femininity in the background.
Hello, Mario.
Hello, Morning Keebs. How are you doing? I saw that you followed a little while ago. Hopefully you're doing okay. I gotta wonder, how exactly did you find me? Because, you know, like, I've been looking at your content, and, you know, you seem more like a music person. I'm just kind of curious about how your path crossed mine. I'm a little curious about how your path crossed mine. I have a yippee of my own. Your yippee looks a little bit like the pro tag in Danganronpa 3. Your yippee guy looks like that he would try to frame someone for murder. Ah, yeah, I saw one of your YouTube videos. I got recommended to me. I've been a huge wrestling fan since, like, 2007. Ah, hey! Nice! Well, then you will absolutely enjoy your time here. And that shows me that I need to be making more YouTube videos. Which I plan on doing more as the year goes on. We actually got a couple of them in the works. We got one right now on WrestleMania 19 Revenge Mode, and we got one on the John Cena Road to WrestleMania, in where we created a, it was the CM Punk Road to WrestleMania, I think. Wait, you found me on my VOD channel then. Wow. Okay. Cool. Fantastic. Well, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed the full VOD, I guess. Hopefully you enjoyed the full VOD. I'm trying to be a bit more kind of timely, like with when I put things up there this year. I'm trying to do a lot of things, chat. I'm trying to do a lot of things. But, yeah. We got the thinking emoji. It was awesome. I love the impressions. I will say that chat was thinking they were a little cringe, but you know what? I thrive off cringe. We here at the Long Boy Club, we are cringe and we wear it on our necks. Speaking of crunge, we got perked here, which is based off of the fucking... It's based off of the Kurt Angle meme, if any of you have ever seen it. Have any of you seen the Kurt Angle meme? Like the one in where he's like staring at like the screen? Like he has a 1,000-yard stare, and there's a lot of space on those necks. Exactly. There's a lot of space for cringe. A lot of space for cringe. Oh my god, yeah! I call him perked. Rather, I call him perk. As a bit of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to Kurt Angle. One of the all-time greats. But he's a fucking goofball. he's a goof. He's a big goof. And, you know, I was like looking at that, and me and my usual emo artist Mac, we send that to each other sometimes, and I was just like, you know, this feels on brand. That are you gonna eat that look? What exactly would you call this expression though? Like manic, crazed, desolate, forcelessness, mage, humber even, or Lorink. perhaps, even. There's a twinge of hopefulness in there for sure. The shitty facial hair really brings it all together. I actually started playing V3 today. Hey, how is it? How is it, my friend? But yeah, those are the brand new emotes that we have. We will be adding on a few more here within the next while. If you want them, maybe consider subbing. Obviously, it is not required. I'm not gonna hang it over people's heads, obviously. But it's always appreciated. It's always appreciated. And hey, I have follower emotes too that you can use on the channel, and I try to make them kind of like the ones that people would want to use the most, you know. But even those are probably gonna get like remade and redone here before too long. Once I get Mech back on the horn, and we start kind of going over like what needs to be redone, what doesn't need to be redone, so on and so forth. All the emotes are so cute. I know! Mech does such a good job. Everyone go follow Mech. Everyone go follow Y2Yes on Twitter. The giraffe Vtuber model is so cool. I know! He's so good. He's so good. But hello. And now I have the cute eyes. Now I have the cutie eyes. Ooh. I'm still trying to find a use for this expression. But like, I mean, we have this. We got the blushie here. Although without the mask, it's sold a little more. But with the mask, it's a little more versatile. It's a little more versatile. We got the anger. We got happy. Hello. Yeah. Huh? And we got sick here as well. Obviously all these, they were made by my model artist, Radiant Graphic. You should rather Radiant Griffin Graphics. She has been incredibly cool up until this point. Heck in time zones. Huh? No. I mean, like, I looked at your stuff. I saw where you were from, or at least I got kind of an idea of where you were from, and I was like, oh man, they're never gonna catch this shit. So it's really nice when I'm able to like get people from like just all around the world to like, you know, be here and be able to see, you know, like all this stuff come together here. But yeah, those are all the emotes that we have. If you can spare it, obviously money is tight everywhere right now. Don't I know it? But if you feel like subbing and you can spare it, will not be upset about that. Well, lucky for you, my stream cycle is about as wrecked as the as the ECW reboot. Well, I'll tell you what, the CM Punk stuff, that was just the beginning. Creating the wrestling multiverse. Because in order to bring you up to speed, everybody, I'll bring you up to speed once we actually get like into things, but before we do that, I do kind of want to talk about like one more thing I did today, just to kind of, you know, ease us into kind of the viewing experience here. Today I actually showed some friends wrestling for the first time. I showed Phoenix Redtail, I showed Drac, I showed my friend Sax Pony, I showed all those people wrestling for the first time. I showed them 4 matches. I showed them Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc 1997. I showed them Rey versus Eddie at SummerSlam 2005 to kind of showcase just kind of the different sides of the coin with wrestling. I showed them John Cena and AJ Styles. It's just kind of like a big match, kind of bring us back down to earth sort of thing. And then I may have went a little overboard. And then I showed them Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland at AEW Full Gear 2023. The one where there's a whole bunch of weapon spots. And it gets pretty gnarly pretty quickly. Now listen. I like that match a lot, right? But I feel like that maybe there could have been a better choice for like easing someone into hardcore wrestling, because like that, in my opinion, is probably like the most violent match I've seen in like a mainstream wrestling promotion. Was the SummerSlam one the custody ladder match? It sure was. It sure was, my friend. And they were laughing the whole time. There was not much laughing going on in the Swerve Strickland match, but you know, when Prince Nana got put through the table, that got him. That got him quite a bit. But yeah, I chose those 4 matches because, one, I think that the Halloween Havoc match, it showcases a superb feats of athleticism. The SummerSlam match is a little more of that, but it's way more on the goofy side and just the kind of like weird storytelling side. The Cena match was a bit more of just kind of like sort of to like put in a hint of familiarity in there, while also showcasing, you know, John Cena's either one of Cena's best matches. And Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page was to simply just be like, all right, now wrestling can just get absolutely fucking nuts and just completely fucking like violent whenever it wants to. But I personally feel like that there maybe could have been a better choice for that, but I can't think of too many off the top of my head. I mean, maybe Moxley versus Kenny at Full Gear 2019. I mean, like that was like one of like the best matches in like the first year of AEW, I think. Right? I like to think that's one of the best matches in like the short history of it. Now I'm thinking what matches I'd show people. Exactly. Like I literally was like talking to folks on here on Friday. And I was thinking to myself, well, if I were a newcomer, what kind of matches would I want to show people, right? Or rather, like, if I were a newcomer, what matches would I want to see? You know, obviously, Rey Mysterio, iconic, right? Eddie Guerrero, iconic. John Cena, iconic, right? I feel like those are matches you can show anyone just based on the name alone, right? Like, you can show that to, like, anybody, and they'll be down with that sort of thing, you know? They'll be down with that sort of thing. But yeah, that was essentially my day today. Just kind of showing my friends wrestling and trying to get them into it. I think I succeeded? I'm not entirely sure, though. I mean, like, no. You know what? I did. They had a good time. I had a good time. We all had a good time. And that is what actually matters, you know? That's what really matters. But yeah, that is really just kind of the extent of it. And I do have one more bit of housekeeping, but, you know, we can save that for, like, when we actually begin playing SVR09 here, which we will start in a second. But first, I gotta play an ad. I'm sorry, chat. I need to appease Father Bezos real quick. Hold on.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Thank you, Homunculus. Raw rolls on after this. Yeah. Come up with a few yourself and, like, and tell me, like, what your kind of, like, starter matches would be. initially, I was going to swap out SummerSlam '05 for
Hello,
Will
Mario.
Ospreay, for Will Ospreay and Josh Alexander. Hey there, Ashley. But personally, I don't think that would have been a good enough showcase for like the versatility of wrestling, right? And plus, Will Ospreay, I think is just, I don't know. Just like, when you look at Will Ospreay, I don't think of him as someone that, like, you know, a newcomer would, like, gravitate towards, right? Rhea versus Charlotte at WrestleMania last year, Undisputed Era versus Team Ciampa at War Games, HBK versus Bret Hart, Screwjob one. It's kind of an oddball. Cesaro versus William Regal on that one episode of NXT. Don't mention any Rumble results, please. I haven't seen it yet. All right. Don't worry. I will say that the show was fun. The show was fun, and there is one bit that I really popped for, but I won't spoil what it is. I won't spoil what it is.
Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. Other than that, I won't mention any other results. Very solid Rumble indeed. Oh yeah. Most def, my friend. But you know what's also solid?
Hello, Mario.
Hey, T-Brain! Hey, now now the Long Boy Club's filing the heck in. Let's freaking go, dude. Let's play some Smackdown vs. Raw 2009, everybody. Now then, as a bit of housekeeping here, dude, Cosmic Glimmer just got finished. Hey, T-Brain finally finished his OC. Fucking fantastic. Fucking fantastic. I'm actually fucking disgusting. It was so fantastic that I was so elated for T-Brain that I, like, fucking belched on stream. Send me that, T-Brain. Send that into the Long Boy Club Discord server. By the way, I got a Discord server that you should join right now, because not only do we watch wrestling pay-per-views over there sometimes, especially AEW ones, but we'll also be watching WrestleMania this year, and we are watching My Little Pony Friendship is Magic in there. Usually every Sunday, but because we did a watch party of the Royal Rumble last night, I'm here streaming on Sunday instead. So yeah, if that sounds interesting to you, along with a potential My Little Pony role-playing game, or rather tabletop role-playing game coming in the future, because my roommate got, like, the official rule book and shit of the official tabletop RPG of My Little Pony, and it's so detailed. It's so thick. And he is cooking, my friend. He is absolutely gonna be serving up something good in the server here before too much longer, hopefully. And I'm also hoping to maybe do more game nights, such as Lethal Company, maybe some more Jackbox, so on and so forth. If that sounds fantastic to you, you should join the Discord server. There it is right there, along with my socials, where you can find my YouTube, my VOD channel, as well as my highlight channel. You can find my Twitter, you can find my Blue Sky. Everything is Giraffe Steph. And yeah, promo time over and done with, and now we got to do a bit of housekeeping. So when it comes to SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, I don't think that we can get more. I don't think we can get much more mileage out of this one, guys. I genuinely do not think we can. For a couple reasons. One, because I know that the road to WrestleManias get better as as time goes on, but also because I don't want to be spending a whole bunch of time on one game, right? Because, like, we're already, what, at the end of January? Oh, ugh. 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 No, 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 no. I do not want to think that we're already at the end of January, but we are. And I don't want to be spending a whole bunch of time on one game. You know, I want to experiment a bit more this year. I want to try out some more types of games. I want to try out different approaches to games. And you know, even though I like just kind of seeing wrestling games for like all they're worth, I don't want to run out of steam, you know? So, tonight's Road to WrestleMania is probably going to be the last one for Smackdown vs. Raw 2009. So, I'm actually going to leave it up to a poll. I'm going to leave it up to a poll, y'all. I will leave it up to a poll as to what we end off on. I'm not going to include Batista versus Rey Mysterio because I have plans for that one. Which one are we doing to end us off? You got 1 minute, chat. Get your votes in. Which one? Jericho, Triple H, or Undertaker? Alright. It's going. Taker's got 2 votes. Jericho's got 1. I'll make things a little more fair and put in my vote. Triple H. Why not? Let's do Triple H. The Undertaker. Alright, Undertaker's winning. Undertaker is winning, chat. Undertaker's winning. Wait, did I make it so that you could, like, vote twice? Ah, shit. Okay, whatever. I'm pretty sure Undertaker's gonna win unless someone, like, votes for, like, Jericho or Triple H at the last minute. Okay! Undertaker it is. Undertaker it is. Got it. The Undertaker one is crazy. Alrighty, cool. Cool. We are gonna be doing Undertaker then. I'm gonna go ahead and sneeze first. Bless me. And we'll get right to it, chat. Let's get right to it. Oh, nope. That is licensed music. That's licensed music. Cannot be showing that. Alright, chat. Now, obviously this is gonna show, like, footage, and I can't be showing this. So, browser, come to the rescue. Come to the rescue, browser. Come to the rescue. Us? What? Alright. Damn, the Undertaker sure looks different now. No, he does. It's actually insane to think about this. A time where he didn't look completely disheveled. Alright, there you go.
The Undertaker has never been defeated at WrestleMania. A pile of broken bones and shattered dreams lay in his wake. But on this road to WrestleMania, who will be the one to rest in peace?
Ooh. Okay. Good times when the streak was still intact. And it wasn't beaten by Brock and Roman. Sad times indeed, chat. What the fuck? No, I didn't want to skip it. Okay, whatever. It's fine. We know the story going in. Who will defeat the Undertaker? The Undertaker at WrestleMania. If anybody. Who possibly can? And I sure do hope that their name doesn't start with B or R. I sure fucking hope not. But no, chat. I need to bring you up to speed on what the fuck is happening. So, throughout our time playing SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, we have created a bit of a evolution of something that we like to call the Cursed Wrestling Universe. Maybe Florida will secede in this one and nobody will care. There will be parties countrywide. Okay. Okay, but I need to contextualize that. But yeah, along our time playing SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, we have created an evolution of the Cursed Wrestling Universe, in that we finally realized that a universe sucks. It's boring. There's not enough you can do with it. There's not enough you can do with it, chat, but, you know what you can do with it? You can do a Cursed Wrestling Multiverse. You can do a Cursed Wrestling Multiverse where anything is possible. You don't need to abide by any rules at all. It's all good. It's all good, chat. And that is exactly what we have done here. We've not only created one universe with CM Punk's Road to WrestleMania, but we've also created at least two others. Because in John Cena's, not only have we established that his storyline takes place in the universe in where the January 8th Raw is actually a tribute to the Troop show, whereas in CM Punk's playthrough it's simply a normal episode of Raw. But on the other hand, but also we have created the universe in where Wisconsin tries to leave the US and is rebranded by MVP as Better Than Utopia. And it is aided by Europe, specifically the UK, and the Isle of Samoa. And it's taken on the rest of the US, and the only way that we can settle it, the only way that we can settle this testy political dispute is through a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, in which John Cena won, and Wisconsin needed to fold back into the Union. That's the universe that we've created, but that also implies that there's a universe in where MVP wins, and Wisconsin just stays its own country. So, the question is, are we playing this in the universe in where John Cena manages to make sure that Wisconsin folds back into the Union? Are we playing in the universe in where MVP wins and Wisconsin becomes its own nation state? Or are we playing in a completely different universe altogether? We'll find out here as we go throughout. But crucially, in this universe, does Tribute to the Troops take place on the same night as Raw on January 8th? Let's find out. Oh, I literally did a test match before this, chat. I did a test match before this stream, and it was Undertaker versus Santino. Hell nah, Wisconsin succeeds and takes Ohio with it in this universe.
Now residing in Patterson, New Jersey, weighing 227 pounds.
What the hell?
Santino Marella.
Justin Roberts on SmackDown? What? That's weird. Speaking of weird, this look for Santino. I'm not used to seeing him without a singlet, right? Tights and a faux hawk. It doesn't work for me, brother. That don't work for me, brother. I forgot Santino's song. I think about it at least once a month.
Weighing 305 pounds, The Undertaker.
No, if this were Justin Roberts, it'd be The Undertaker. Yeah, Justin, hold back, dude. What the fuck? Ah, the Dapper Yapper. I bet you do. I bet you do. I think about Santino at least once a month, chat. They held Justin back! God damn it. But no. You know what? Yeah, this may as well be the universe in where Wisconsin takes Ohio with it. What about Santina? We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that around these parts. Unless we get shown the door. Unless we get shown the way out. Can't do multiple takes and keep up the energy. My bad. Ugh. You know what happens to those who mention Santina? They get drop kicked by Beth Phoenix. And slammed by Beth Phoenix. It's funny that we make fun of Undertaker's entrance now, but like Roman is just longer now, right? Roman is like just a longer entrance guy now. Does that say Smack Pizza in the back? I don't know. I wasn't quite paying it. Oh wait. Oh fuck. Jonathan Coachman on commentary? All right. All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're in for a stellar main event here as the Dead Man takes on the...
Wait, this is your main event? Oh. That's dire.
What a devastating...
That's fucking dire. Main event Morella, baby. Let's fucking go. For all the marbles, surely. That's fucking incredible, actually.
A vicious elbow
there you
drop
go.
delivered with a lot of force. Quite honestly, I don't think Santino has a prayer in this matchup.
Just bury the fuck out of him.
Looks like he's decided to finish off his opponent.
All right. Morella gonna pull off the upset. I don't think he's gonna, brother. One. What? You are not at the level of the card where you cannot sell that. Fuck you. Fuck you. For all the marbles, surely.
Straight kick right to the head. Nothing fancy about that.
Not the best main event ever signed.
With 2 decades of destruction, this man takes no prisoners, and Santino Marella will be no exception.
My guy is absolutely cracked.
A swift kick to the opponent.
So wait, is this just like into a tombstone, or rather like into a pin, like right away?
He could pin his opponent right here. 2.
Callaway is gonna take Santino to Wrestler's Court over kicking out. Man, dude, imagine going to Smackdown and that's your main event. It's 2008, all right.
Santino is a talented superstar, but it's hard to ever bet against the Undertaker.
That was your main event. That's crazy. All right, well, match number 1, and we haven't really established anything about this universe just yet. We need to figure out what this is, chat. We need to look at the context clues. It's like how we looked at Mr. Kennedy. And by putting 2 and 3 together, we figured out that he was a fence sitter in the war between Wisconsin. He was simply a red herring for what would inevitably come. Must have been a house show or something. That is really the only explanation. Santino got less than 0 shit in. accept the existence of the new nation state of Wisconsin. No. That happens after WrestleMania. Alright? As of right now, if this is happening in the same universe, the war is being fought right now, right? It's being fought. Oh shit. Jeez. The war's being fought.
This is Friday Night Smackdown. Coach and I are both excited to bring you a great show, which includes a tag team title match.
Alright.
Who do you think you are? Speaking for me.
Well, aren't you
Won't
excited?
be denied!
Never speak for me. Understand?
What the fuck? Okay. Umaga's still standing on tanks. He's getting ready for the war.
You sure took a beating last week. You all right?
Oh, I'm just great. I'm sure I'll feel better after Undertaker does the same thing to you tonight.
I doubt it. I got the dead man's number.
I bet you won't last as long as I did against you.
Phoenix. That was Snitsky's General Gene.
Yeah, keep walking, Undertaker. I'll be seeing you later.
Listen, in the cutscene, we established that like Umaga was the head of security, right? Like he was the head of security. Why can't him and Snitsky be like both generals, right? I mean, like you put that combined meat and the teeth in there, unstoppable. It's over. It's done with. Pack it up and go home. WWE have a show with a hard rock song as a theme challenge and boss. Listen. We're simply doing what's necessary. We're simply doing what's necessary in terms of having killer show tunes.
Hello, Mario.
Hey, Mech. What's up? Right, defeat tonight's opponent in less time than it took to win last week. So wait, if I just took like 10 minutes to beat Santino? Wait! Dude, that's impossible! That's actually impossible! I gotta squash Finley, too! Okay, sure. Not much, currently drawing for an art trade. Nice. Well, speaking of your art... Guys, the person that made the new emotes, there he is in chat right now. You should go follow him on Twitter. Go follow him right now. Right now. Right now. Right fucking now. There he is. I remember they had an Audio Slave song for WrestleMania 24 and it still slaps so damn hard. Okay. 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 It's alright. It's alright. What is the theme that they had? What's the theme they had? WrestleMania 24 theme song. Are you sure? It says it's Rev Theory. How about this? I'm looking this up. WWE Audio Slave. Shit. Oh, well, the first result that I got was Be Yourself, which is also an Audio Slave song. It's the first single from the second album of American rock band Audio Slave, Out of Exile. The song was released in 2005 and topped the Billboard Mainstream Rock Tracks chart for 7 weeks and the Modern Rock Tracks chart for 4 weeks in 2005. Be Yourself has routinely been heard in multiple media. The song is the theme music of the 2005 Raw Diva Search, which was held by WWE, and it was used as the entrance music of the winner at that contest, Ashley WWE once again used the song as one of the official theme songs for Wrestle. Oh, it was one of the official theme songs. One of them. Like, one of a couple. You refuse to see the change in... Come on, let's get it on. Move to the music, yeah, music. Let's get it on. You were no way. Ah, okay, nice. The old noggin still works. Was playing the SVR with the Move to the Music raw butt rock song, and now it's stuck in my head. Move to the Music is quintessential butt rock for wrestling. Wrestling and butt rock are like peanut butter and jelly. They're like eggs and cheese, right? Just like a match made in heaven. You cannot get better than that. I hear Seether's Remedy at SummerSlam 2006, I think it was. And I'm like turning that up like the fucking meme, right? Like, my eardrums are just in another solar system. They're out of there. They're completely out of there. Or burn to the... Yeah, like, going out tonight! We're going out every night! So on and so forth. I will say, that was probably the last, like, good one that they had. Rather, like, the last good track that Raw had. Smackdown had, Green Day, too. Which, considering Green Day's politics, is such a clash of cultures to me. You would think that that would be the last thing they would want to appear in. I don't even know what Raw's theme is right now. I think it's like an original thing. I don't think it's like a licensed piece of music. But, I can tell you, it's not Nickelback. It's like one of the only times I'll ever want to have Nickelback within my vicinity. Right? Although, listen, I say that, but a lot of their songs are guilty pleasures of mine, you know? A lot of songs of theirs are guilty pleasures. Alright, we got I need to beat him in less than 2 minutes, chat. And he loves to fight. You know what? Fuck this. I'm taking the count out. Oh, wasn't it the do you know the anime? Yeah, that. Off of a pretty good album too. 21st Century Breakdown's pretty good. Not as good as American Idiot, but it's still good. But no, yeah, it says Smack Pizza, chat. Smack Pizza. I just imagine someone taking like a slice of pizza and just using it to slap a dude across the face now. Where's Hornswoggle though? In the back. He about to watch his daddy get put through a table.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Shit. Raw was on in picture. Don't go anywhere. Count out. No, count out.
Matchup. It's the Undertaker, the best pure striker in the game, versus the tough-nosed Irishman Finlay.
No. Watch this, chat. Alright, can I win by count out?
A stiff shot with the elbow.
I want to see if I can win by count out. Queen song in the ad. Let's go.
What height on that leg drop? 6.
You would think that. No.
Get back in the ring.
Fuck you.
Look in his eye here, folks. The Undertaker has a point to prove here. Shutting up Finlay after claiming he has the dead man's number has to be the Phenom's top priority.
Well, cool.
2. And there's the elbow.
Please.
What a
Please.
devastating neck.
Please.
Finlay Finley is one tough individual. He's got
Please,
stamina
please,
and
please,
an
please,
iron
please.
jaw. Santino may have to put his money where his mouth is when this bet is settled.
The tombstone pile driver.
Finley is beyond a shadow of a
Om
doubt.
nom nom. Oh, excuse
Okay.
me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw.
He's bleeding all over the place. This one's getting ugly.
No!
How much more abuse can a human
No,
being take?
chat. I want this. I want this. I know it's possible. I can do it.
This isn't going to be a technical matchup. It's The Undertaker, the best pure striker in the game, versus the tough-nosed Irishman Finley.
This right here better not be the main event of SmackDown again. Well, to be fair,
It's nothing flashy, but it's
if Finley wasn't such a mid-carder, then this might actually be like pretty sick. All right?
That's it. It's over.
Man, man, John, that's really all it takes. Fight forever. Fight forever.
Finley, after claiming he has the dead man's number, has to be the Phenom's top priority.
No! Damn it! I want this. I want this, chat. You do not understand. You don't get it. I need this. I need this just like I needed like the last one, even though I completely forgot what it was. I like to take a chance SmackDown opening in 2016. It was symbolic of Raw being superior and SmackDown being left behind. Oh, I actually like SmackDown during that time period, though.
This isn't going to be a technical matchup. It's The Undertaker, the best pure striker in the game, versus the tough-nosed Irishman Finley.
Yeah? Well, how about this one, Moggle?
What an incredible impact from that crossbody.
Urgh. Come on. There you go. No, I'm not getting back in the ring. Yeah, it was. Like SmackDown in that time period was actually like
A vicious stomp.
pretty killer, honestly.
Reversal.
No, you're not. Okay, you know what? No. You're getting back outside, and we're gonna do the fucking spot. Swanton to the outside? Wow.
Oh, what a vicious jab with the right. The Undertaker has a point to
I think
prove
my
here.
very first ever
Finley,
wrestling
after
show
claiming he has
was.
the
Wait,
dead
hold
man's
on.
number,
Sorry.
has to be the Phenom's top priority.
Come on. No, I'm not going. I think my first ever wrestling show I watched
How many superstars have fallen victim to that?
it was a
over the years?
WWE SmackDown episode. Which one?
Finley is one tough individual. He's got stamina and an iron jaw. Santino may have to put his money where his mouth is when this bet is settled.
He slipped out of that one.
So, like, the whole point of this, right? The whole point of doing this quicker. No. Like, the camera here is actually, like, wild. It's a little nauseating, actually.
The best pure striker in the game versus the tough-nosed Irishman Finley.
I think they were, like, trying to, like,
The high cross
do something with this, right? I think they were trying to make this look more realistic. But, like, what actually ended up happening was, I can't really tell. I can't tell, like, as easily what I'm doing, right?
Absolutely no respect for his opponent.
What a fierce kick.
He's showing
Fuck. Oh, man. Oh, no. Get out.
Going to be a technical matchup. It's the Undertaker,
Out.
the best pure striker in
Out.
the game versus the tough-nosed Irishman.
Get out. There you go.
And what an incredible impact from that crossbody.
I want this so bad, chat, please. And 10-year-old Keys was like, "Oh, this is awesome." I can't remember my first wrestling show. I can't remember my first wrestling show. I'm sorry, chat. I can't get over how much I let that just like slip
And there's the leg drop.
slip
Undertaker has a point
slip
to prove
through
here.
my hands,
Setting up
right?
Finley after claiming he has the dead man's number has to be the Phenom's top priority.
No. First off,
8. Tombstone pile driver. How
There you
many
go.
superstars have fallen victim to that over the years? He certainly is one tough individual. He's got stamina and an iron jaw.
okay, there you go. We won. I got it. Count out victory, baby. Please tell me that counts. That counts, baby. Let's go. Woo!
Talk about separating the wheat from the chaff. That's one fight Finley definitely didn't love.
The Undertaker is looking more dominant than I've ever seen him before. And that's saying something.
I genuinely cannot believe that they let you just get a count out of that. And the Undertaker's so happy about it. Look at him. Yeah. That was awesome. That was rad as fuck. Casual tombstone pile driver on the outside. Wait, that was the end of SmackDown again? No. Okay, well, you know what? Oh, hey. Okay, there he is. I think Edge was feuding with Ray at the time. Vicky sold that move really well, TVH. You got this. Let's go. Win in less time than it took to beat Santino. Condition fulfilled. Hornswoggle, non-playable manager. Hornswoggle is now able to help you out from his home under the ring. Summon Hornswoggle from under the ring. Hold R and taunt. Cool. Well, listen, I'm not gonna be playing this much more after this. So you know what? At the very least, we got Hornswoggle. You know what? You know what, chat? I figured it out. This right here is the cursed wrestling universe of shitty SmackDown main events. We figured it out. At least, like, we're starting to figure it out. Like, I didn't start watching until, like, 2010 or 2011, so...
Rumble is rapidly approaching, but we have a huge main event tonight.
Literally massive, Cole. Undertaker versus the Great Khali.
What?!
Heavyweight championship.
What the fuck?
Can only be seen on Smackdown.
I'm sorry? I'm sorry? No. Dude, I've been fighting jobbers for the past 2 weeks. You cannot sit here and tell me that the Great Khali, Undertaker's kryptonite. Yeah. It's okay, we got a Hornswoggle now. Wait. Can we actually use him? Can we actually use him here? Also, I'm turning the difficulty over to hard just so we have a little bit more to work with here. Because frankly, the game's getting a little too easy now. It's getting a little too easy. Singles match, World Heavyweight Championship. Wait. When exactly did the Great Khali win the World Heavyweight Championship, chat? What year?
Heavyweight Championship. Introducing the challenger.
What year?
Death Valley, weighing 305 pounds.
Because I'm starting to think that this may not be a cursed wrestling universe. This is just a shit wrestling universe. You got bad main events. You got the Great Khali as world champ for over a year. Whoa, hold, jeez. You got the universe of these camera angles. So on and so forth. But no, can someone please look that up? I really need to know. I love double E. Wait, that's actually someone else.
The World Heavyweight Champion, the Great Khali.
Hell World. You said what year? Oh no, it is! Chat, no it is. It is. Okay, so wait. When in 2007 did he win it? Like, Like, at what point in time in 2007 did he win it? Here he comes. The man, the myth, the legend. July. Half a year is unacceptable. You know what? Yeah, this right here is like the fucking shit wrestling universe, then. You got 6-month title run, Great Khali. Wait, what? Okay. We got 6-month title run, Great Khali. You got less than 2 minutes of less than 2-minute main events on SmackDown featuring The Undertaker. You gotta let Great Khali cook. Listen, he can cook, but I'm not gonna be hungry, alright? I ain't gonna be hungry for that shit.
Two monsters will collide in the ring tonight. What a main event. Undertaker.
What a main event, eh?
It literally doesn't get any bigger than this.
Now that's a Vince line if I've ever heard one.
Quick reverse.
Look at the size of these hammocks. Brother. Pal. Oh, damn. Okay, well, suddenly the CPU is actually doing something, chat. Woo! There you go.
A vicious stomp.
What exactly would the Great Khali cook, chat? What's he gonna do? Actually.
That'll knock the air right out of you.
They're so big and bulky and huge.
A vicious
Look at the
stomp.
size. Look at the size of this hammock. There you go. Woo!
Reverse. Can he take advantage?
A vicious blow to the opponent.
This is just shouting into, like, Cole's headset. Size, 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 size. Size! Size, pal!
That'll leave a mark. A vicious stomp.
We'll say, chat, I do not miss how these older wrestling games play. I do not quite miss them. I don't know if it's just because the people we're playing as, but, like,
Oh, man. Look out.
this is
Momentum rolling. He's been
this is definitely a lot slower than I remember it being.
Punjabi Nightmares named to that list.
Oh, well, he isn't just the Punjabi Playboy Keeves. He is the Punjabi Nightmare now. Wrestling has more than one great family. Adrenaline in my soul. Ooh.
Was one step ahead on that one.
God damn it. Stop. Stop reversing my shit. Yeah. Whoa. I love double E.
Anticipated that move perfectly.
Okay, what?
Oh, the punch connects.
Okay, what is my signature? What do you do?
He sees his chance.
Oh, okay, chokeslam. That's fine. One of his signatures is probably old school then.
That could have done some serious damage.
Wait. Is that enough?
There's the cover.
One, two. What a maneuver. The eye poke reversal from the floor is comedy.
To the opponent.
Wait. Who fucking poked whose eye?
A test
Hey!
reversal. Can he follow up?
No. I love double E more than you do. I love it more than, ow!
Oh, good night.
Dang it. The Great Call. Wait. Santino? Huh?
Referee's calling for the bell. The match is over.
What? Huh? I love this visual. Santino looks like the Great Khali's like cousin at like the Christmas party, dude. He looks like that him and like Khali are like play wrestling, right? This is so good. So wait, hold on a second. Hey, no! Get out of the way. Santino thinks he's R-Truth pinning on an interference. Santino walks so R-Truth could run. No. I was literally thinking the exact same thing, chat. I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, that is an R-Truth spot right there.
You guys aren't enough to take out the Phenom, even when one is a great colleague.
So, like, what is the point of this here? Like, what are we building up to? What are we building up to, chat? Oh. Holy crap, his eyes are bulging out his head, chat.
That just got the Undertaker mad.
Oh. No way.
The numbers game is finally caught up with the Phenom. We need some officials out here.
Yeah.
Why is that the Undertaker? And then just leave.
Wait, that's French.
Looks like they accomplished what they were after, Michael.
Oh my god, it's the League of Nations, chat. My favorite. It's 3 parts of Europe. Ireland, Italy, and India. The 3 eyes. The 3 eyes, chat. You always gotta have a 3rd eye on the back of your head. You've always gotta have a 3rd eye on the back of your head. It's a good thing you have 3 eyes here to take on the Undertaker. Wait, are we just... Wait, chat. Is this the World War III that Muhammad Hassan was, like, sparking after he won the WWE title? Holy shit! Is the US about to have two wars going on? Either that, or this is like the war and where, like, there's just another world war going on.
Friday Night Smackdown. Last week, The Undertaker was assaulted by Santino in Finley. But why?
Okay.
If they want you to know, Michael Cole, they'll tell you.
Well, they've requested some airtime tonight, so hopefully we'll get some answers.
I love the cow emote. It's 2009 Smackdown, so probably a big Mario. Kurt Angle's 3 eyes.
How are we supposed to get ahead in the WWE?
Italy, Ireland, and India.
Bulldozing everyone.
But we're not worried. We aren't intimidated. We know the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak will end. The man is coming.
Oh, hey, Becky Lynch, let's go, dude!
Old news, Undertaker. We're the new school.
It's Becky Lynch, exactly.
It's not all bad.
Hello, Mario.
Hello, Solar Moon Eclipse, how are you doing?
Present for you, dead man.
Also, hello there, Idea Maker. How you doing? So, like, what are we building up to, exactly? Since I've been to your streams. Well, welcome back. Oh, it's Edge.
Present for The Undertaker?
Oh, well, that's not the man. That's not the man, chat. You might remember me as the guy who said Ibushi.
Here we go. An Undertaker.
You along with a few other people, actually.
Man is right now with Edge,
That was,
the
that was one of the things about the Persona 5 role playthrough that we kind of established going through. Pep's so sad, no Becky. So wait, is this just like an impromptu match then? Damn, ow. Alright, come on. So wait, is this like an alternative kind of thing in where... Wait, hold on. Chat. This right here isn't like the universe in where Wisconsin tries to lead the U.S. In this one, Wisconsin's fine. It's just that this actually is just the universe in where Muhammad Hassan wins like the WWE Championship, and then 3 years later it's World War III. Except it's all the United Nations against the U.S. For what reason?
Such power and aggression behind that move.
Well, SmackDown's better than Raw. That's the reason. That's the reason, chat. Who needs politics when you have wrestling?
Nasty.
That's what I say.
He's
Oh,
gotta
shit.
capitalize right here.
No! Damn!
And there's
Hey.
the drop kick.
Hey, you! No.
What a kick that was.
Holy crap. No! Oh, shit. No. No, 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 no.
What
Ow.
a decapitating lariat.
Ooh.
Talk about
No,
bleeding your
no,
opponent.
no, Becky. This is a universe where Becky Lynch breaks the streak. I wouldn't be upset about that. That sounds rad as fuck.
Can his opponent kick out?
He almost got the 3 right there.
Oh, there you go.
Punch connects.
What the fuck?
Oh,
Hey, you!
a slap like that
Ow!
doesn't take
Hey!
it. Believe you me.
Ow! Damn it.
He's going in for the kill.
Oh, no. Okay, well. Okay, well, now the game's pretty hard, chat. Now it's pretty hard. I got to admit. I gotta admit, chat.
Can he do it?
Why is the ref not counting?
A stiff shot with
Why
the
is the
elbow.
ref not counting? Ow! Damn it! He's relentless.
And there's the reversal.
He just reverses everything. Yeah, it's classic Undertaker, and where they don't used to wrestle before he started commentating. Yes, I did. I did.
We may see a tap out right here.
I did in fact know that. Yes.
A vicious stomp.
The guy stuck with commentating. He's very good at it. He's very good at it. What the?
Anticipated that move perfectly. Undertaker had the title won last week against the Great Khali until New School interfered in the match. And I, for one, predict the Undertaker
Hold on.
will go old
Hold on.
against
Is that their name? New School? New School?
kick to the
That's
opponent.
shit. That's some.
What a 16
That's
thud
bad.
his opponent
No.
crashed to the mat.
Chat, let's not call it that. You and I, we're not calling it that, okay? We're not calling it that. Instead, we're calling it the League of Nations. That's our timeline.
And the knuckles connect.
Wow, look at the confidence.
That's
He's
our
letting his opponent
timeline.
know what's up.
What
Just
a fierce
no, I
kick.
wanted him to finish up the taunt. What
What
the?
a nasty elbow. The kick connects.
No! New School. Who let them cook? I don't know, but I'm not eating it.
There's the cover.
Okay, now you count.
Get off my back, I'm doing my job.
A vicious stomp. And there's the elbow. Look at these superstars. This can't go on much longer.
There you go. Good.
A vicious stomp.
Fine, scary Undertaker can roll. I can roll his eyes into his
Saw
head.
that one coming.
Well, when you're a wrestling fan as long as I am, it's
Oh man, what a crushing blow.
it's not the most impressive
man.
thing. Oh, ow!
Like that doesn't tickle.
Stop!
Believe you me.
Stop! Dang it!
And there it is. The big boot connects.
A big boot, chat.
One. Edge and Undertaker have a tremendous history with each other. They've traded world championships and have had some classic
Okay, I'm
battles.
gonna
Who will claim
I'm
victory
gonna-
tonight?
I'm gonna head back into the ring real quick. All right. This is also. Have you seen the Scooby-Doo WWE crossovers? I know about them. I know about them, but I've not
We might be
I've not
seeing the beginning
seen-
of the end.
I've not seen them in full myself. I've seen clips of the Jetsons one, and it's absolutely just insane.
This could be 3 right here.
Wait, hold
It's
on.
time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
All right, right, Smackdown
Educated feet.
stays rolling as the commercial break goes
See a
on.
high-risk move from the top rope.
Here you go. Ooh.
Elbow staggering the opponent.
This is Come on.
Reversed. Can he take advantage?
And that's a stiff kick.
Let's go. Come on. Come on. Let this be it.
Tombstone, pile
Nope.
driver.
Nope. Nope.
How many
Nope. It's
superstars
under.
have fallen victim to that over
It's
the
under.
years?
Oh, wait. No, no. It's good. It's good. It's good.
This could be it.
Oh, let's go.
That's all she wrote.
Oh, that one was actually a little tough, chat.
Undertaker takes out another foe, but it looks like he's got bigger problems on the horizon.
This new school is a formidable.
News? No! it's spelled like that?
Undertaker has never shied away from a battle before, so I don't think this will be any different.
No, chat. They're cooking, but I'm not fucking eating. Right? They're cooking. But that doesn't mean I'm eating. In fact, I'm taking that.
Nom nom.
I'm not
Oh,
eating.
excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
The homunculus was eating. Welcome back to Raw. I'm not eating. We are taking this in our own direction. This right here is the League of Nations, chat. New school. Their favorite bands are Korn and Limp Bizkit. Have Undertaker and Kane actually fought each other? Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. They've fought each other several times. Usually it's been pretty bad. But they have. They have. I won't be doomed. I am the man. No, you're not. You're not Becky Lynch.
Reaction on tap.
I always look forward to the Royal Rumble match every year. It's the most unique match in our business, bar none.
We've had a late edition of another contest tonight, too. New School has challenged The Undertaker to a handicap match. In fact, it's going to happen right now.
Right now? I don't even get a chance. No, it's not. I don't get paid enough for this shit. New School? Ain't no way I'm putting that over, Al. I'm not putting that shit over. I'm not putting our former allies over. Undertaker exercises his creative control. He holds up the show. Imagine if New School is high school drop. I don't like that. Undertaker exercises his creative control. Becky Lynch playing this game in 2008, like... Hold on. Are these your emotes? Are these your emotes, my friend? Because these are so cute. I love them. Where are they from? I love these cow emotes. They're so cute. They're from Katie Mary? Right? Oh, Katie Mary. Ah, no, but I wish. They're so cute. They're so adorable, though. Okay. I don't know, chat. Does this particular WWE have a custom where you could... Yeah, yeah. Basically all of them do, in fact. Aside from, like, the really old ones, right? But ever since, like, the N64, every single, WWE game has a wrestler creator, right? In fact, any wrestling game worth its salt does, I feel like, right? Any wrestling game worth its salt, whether it's something like this or Wrestling Empire. One on tag. It's League of Nations 1.0, chat. Also, New School. Finley's like 45 here, chat. Finley is not new. He has He's been around for at least like 15 years at this point, right? It's like saying I'm a new streamer. You're giving this man ideas. Listen, you kind of are. You kind of are, honestly. But these are all just so good, though. I'm sorry. New School, the Belfast Brawler. I love their theme song. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Oh, keep rolling, 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 rolling. Move in, I move out. Hands up, hands down. Back up, back up. Tell me what you gonna do now. That's my favorite theme song of New School. Or their other one. Ooh, wah, ah, ah. Ooh, wah, ah, ah. No, chat. Chat. Just, like, give me a second here, okay? Let me cook. Ooh, ah, 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 ah. Let me cook. Let me cook, chat. Sing Slow Chemical. Can't put me on the spot like that. Can't put me on the spot like that, you know? You cannot... Hold on. Hold on, chat. I'm trying to find it. Here's their theme song, okay? Here's their theme song. We're gonna have them come out to this. What the? Huh? Whoa! You can see every pore. Ow! Wah! Cool. There it is. There's her theme song. Timing was almost top notch. What the fuck? That's the legally distinct version of Down with the Sickness.
Santino and Finley had to have known this beat.
Down with the sickness.
Undertaker never forgives and never forgets.
Why does he have a fucking urn? Because that's the Undertaker's urn. I have absolutely no clue what's going on. Chat, I have no clue what's going on. But no, chat, you want me to sing Slow Chemical? Do you want me to sing Slow Chemical for all of you?
How the heck do you get up from that?
Because I'll need the instrumentation. Okay? Finley loves to collect urns. Yes, please. Okay. I'll do that for you after this match, okay?
Talk about a move with bad intentions. Finley and Santino were trying to outwit the Undertaker, the master of mind games, by using the tombstone pile driver.
What the fuck were you talking about, Michael? Moggle?
No time going for that pin. Wow, I thought
What a
for sure.
what a fucking great tag team. They don't even come in to break up pins. Moggle? What the hell were you saying, Moggle?
Jarring the opponent's chest.
Time.
The referee saw
It's
the tag.
fucking Johnny Depp when the world comes around. What now?
Oh my God!
How dare Santino kick out? Immediate tombstone?
Tombstone pile driver. How many superstars have fallen victim
It's a
to that
song.
over the years?
Oh.
One, he's going for the pin.
Is that new metal?
What a counter!
Is that like in the same realm as like Limp Bizkit and Disturbed? Oh, okay. We take those, I guess. I didn't even do anything, but sure.
He's got to capitalize right here.
Finley is immune to the tombstone. Yeah, the fucking urn gives him supernatural powers, you know? Oh wait, you know what? That probably is like what's actually happening because like I'm seeing that like I'm already like in yellow body damage and like a lot of moves that would usually hurt them. They're doing basically nothing. It's like I'm really gonna have to try to win this match, chat. Listen.
Oh, what a vicious jab with the right.
Love this.
A vicious stomp.
He slipped out of that one.
I'm a win or lose, draw. The result of this, I'll play slow comical for you afterwards, okay?
We might be seeing the beginning of the end.
Can you pick up the urn and hash them with it? No. You cannot use that as a weapon. But I can say this. I can definitely tell I'm weaker.
You gotta be kidding me. That was nowhere near 3.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing this, chat. I'm definitely seeing that, like, they're making me less powerful in this match. Oh, wait. Oh, bash them with it. I didn't see the kerning on the text. Sorry. Save your fucking finisher, you... Okay, cool. Finley has the power of the Undertaker. You just can't beat the power-packed taste of the Undertaker's Zerd.
Good, solid wrestling maneuver.
Unleash the power of the Taker.
He's tagging in his partner.
Actually, no. I hate... No, chat. Just forget everything I just said. I do not want to imagine the power-packed taste of the urn. That doesn't sound like good news for anybody. That doesn't sound like good news for anyone here.
A vicious stomp.
Get out the way, ref! Out the way! Okay, hold on. We need battle music, chat. We need battle music for this bullshit. Because this actually turned out to be a little hard. What do we want? Do we want Skyrim Battle, which is like the do that sort of thing. We can do the Bowser's Inside Story music, or we can do Megalovania. We can do Wild Pokemon music, which is like this. I like this one. We could do Meta Ridley. We can do Goofy Aw. Would Kingdom Hearts music work? No, because that would get blicked. Wait, hold on. You can't hear it? Hold on. Oh, well, no wonder you can't hear it. Okay, there you go. Punch Out World Circuit? We could do that. Anyways, chat. Music. You do this. You could fart me throughout. We could do Inside Story. Okay, chat, you know what? Sure. You gotta use your channel points to create the music. Create the symphony to which I will beat these guys in. Here. Create the symphony. Create the symphony of destruction. Symphony.
Step on up and see if you can throw a giant screen around the wall.
Ow!
Step on up. Come on. Let's go.
Ow.
Hurry.
Ah, you missed. I don't know who did that.
Missed. Or maybe you didn't. You owe me $10.
No, I can't see!
Nice reversal.
I can't see!
Steph, are you okay? Steph?
I'm okay, Sax. I'm okay, Sax.
Ara.
No! What do I deserve? What have I done in this life to deserve this?
And there's the elbow.
He's going in.
Hey, Henry.
Choke slam. There's the clothesline.
Oh! No! Roll up!
He may get the 3 count. Right.
No! No! No way! No, that was not an oh yeah moment. What the fuck was that? Dude, even with the urn, you couldn't do it. You sick fuck indeed. Okay, well, I guess it just doesn't matter.
It is the urn that's hurting the Undertaker. What's going on?
Okay, well, there you go. Fight forever. Finish the job? What do you mean? Do you want him dead? Oh, I don't know, Coachman. I'm pretty sure that I wanted Undertaker to fucking die here on pay-per-view. I can't give up just yet, chat. Gotta stay determined. Stream Deck broke on me, chat. God damn it. Don't give up, Undertaker. The timing on these is so good, yeah. All Boy Club's showing up tonight, you know? They're showing right the fuck up. See, we didn't need no battle music. All we needed was chat interaction. Ow. Anyways, chat. Gotta roll an ad real quick. And then I'll sing Slow Chemical for all of you, okay? I gotta pull it up real quick, though.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Thank you, Homunculus. Raw rolls on after this.
Illusion of Gaia, Earthbound comes packed with a load of hints if you
Ah,
need
my
them.
favorite right
Earthbound
ear
is an easy
sonata.
RPG,
Here.
But Nintendo wanted the game to be easy, so it provide constant, uninterrupted fun. Earthbound has so many comic elements to it that Nintendo doesn't want you to give up on the game and never see those funny scenes. Earthbound is the first RPG to be set in modern times. You save your progress by calling your dad over the telephone and refill your energy by eating pizza. Speaking of pizza, you can play the game with your left hand and eat pizza in the other, since the game can be controlled with the L button, which lets you talk and check, otherwise known as search, and the control pad to move. Prepare to visit several
I have
places.
ad block
A
on. You better
clubhouse,
not make me watch this.
arcade,
Okay, good.
burger shop, theater, Loch Ness Lake, dinosaur museum, hospital, drugstore, stone
What?
inn, a
What
police
is this?
station,
This
library,
is
a park,
banger,
preschool,
banger.
a
This is
bakery,
gaming in the
laboratory,
Clinton years, my
tents,
friend.
Caves, inns, a desert, a beach resort,
Ashley reliably
grocery store,
plays it
snake
during
shop,
every
and
commercial
Saturn
break. That
Valley.
way we got something
Watch out for
interesting to
Master
look
Belts.
at.
You may have smelled him
Before.
Bottom line,
You may
the
have
battles
smelled
and the
him
HP
before,
elements seem
chat.
out of place, but the psychic
Who's
experience
him?
points fit the Earthbound mold well. The game is easy, but you should consider buying it just because it's really innovative. Earthbound is the first RPG set in modern times. The graphics
Okay, I need,
are
like,
impressive
the lyrics
artistically, but
first.
not technically. The humor makes the game interesting.
Make sure I don't get...
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. Who all we got here to hear the dulcet tones of Giraffistev? Let's see. Let's see who all reacts. Okay. I'm not gonna look at chat while doing this because it's gonna make me nervous. Let's do it. One. This is gonna get me claimed. I don't care. The wonder of the world is gone, I know for sure. All the wonder that I want, I found in her. As the whole becomes a part, I strike to burn. and no flame returns. It's like the only, like... It's like the only, like, full part I know. That's like the only... That's like the only, like, whole part I know. I'll try one more time. Why not? I need to not to try and sing like the Finger 11 dude. The wonder of the world is gone, I know for sure. All the wonder that I want, I found in her. As the whole becomes a part, I strike to burn, and no flame returns. Use those long boy vocal cords. Clip that. Let's do it. Sure, why not? Hold on. I need to, like, listen to the whole of the theme song, because, like, off the top of my head, I don't remember everything. But there you go. I sung Slow Chemical. I sung the first bit of it. For all of you. Clap, clap, clap. Thank you. Thank you, chat. Can you, like, let me know I did well by using the applause redeem? You know what? I'm gonna make myself feel good. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is awesome. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Hey. I bet you never thought a giraffe could sing, could you, chat? Well, think again. Because it just did. Oh, yeah. I snapped into that one, chat. Like no one ever did before. No one ever did before or since, in fact. Or since. Or since. Thank you. Anyways. Ooh, yeah. Okay, let's go. And I won't be denied. That's a good butt rock voice, not gonna lie. Snap into it so hard when the governor of Knox County returns. He should come out to your rendition. He should. And I will rise up.
Who says lightning
Oh.
can strike in the same place, Michael Cole? Rey Mysterio won the Royal Rumble match again.
And in another shocker, Undertaker looked downright vulnerable in this match.
I literally thought you said he looked downright horrible, Coachman. He completely stunk up the joint. He should go to TNA with a performance like that. Oops, can't say that on TV.
New School has had fun delivering your first gift, Undertaker.
Dude's ugly, Moggle.
The man is a generous
Okay,
person.
chat, so like every single time.
So here's another present from
Hold on. I'm gonna let this play out, right? Meanwhile, I'm gonna add something to the soundboard, okay? I'm going to add something to the soundboard. Kane!
Brother Kane.
That's gotta be Kane!
Is under our control now.
I was about to say, and speak of the devil, you know what? Chat. What if every single time Kane comes out, we just play my rendition of fucking Slow Chemical?
Hello, Mario.
Devin! How you doing? What is this? Kane is under New School's control. To break the trance, give him the tombstone twice. Play it. Play it. Play it. OMG, please, yes. Alright, well first I want to see how something sounds, because technically, Kane is part of this faction now, right? He's part of the shitty new metal fan club, right? And yes, this right here is the alternate universe and where like new metal remains popular for like a few more years. So much so that there's a faction that's named specifically after it. Like Santino and Finlay, they've got posters everywhere. Every single fucking where of Korn, Limp Bizkit, Disturbed, Crazy Town, I suppose. Everywhere. Everywhere all over their bedrooms. Their wives. Oh yeah. Like Linkin Park. Listen. I may be making fun of new metal, but like you will not hear me throwing strays at Linkin Park. All right? I respect their work too much. I respect their work too much to fucking do that to them. You know I can't do it to them, chat. Undertaker with the wrestling skills of Almos. You mean of Omos? Unacceptable. Why does Undertaker's face look AI generated here? Are you seeing that, chat? Okay, so this is completely just for this, chat, but I need this so bad. Every single time they come out, we need to play the song. All right? I gotta say, the more time passes, the less funny it gets. So I better hurry up. How's Fit Finlay New School? He was at least 48. I asked that earlier. He looks like he did something he's not supposed to and is trying to hide it from his mom. I did not buy Playboy, Mom. I swear I just read it for the articles. I swear I just read it for the editorials. Okay. I got my shit in. Is this the one? Is this the one? I know I didn't just hear some Omos slander. It's... Oh wait, no, I'm not gonna spoil anything because I know Ashley hasn't done anything yet. Okay, Undertaker with the Great Khali wrestler skills. That is also part of this timeline. We got shit wrestling, and new metal remains popular until at least 2009. We are truly in the most fucked up universe. This right here is the fucked up wrestling universe. It's no longer cursed. No. You know what? Cursed and fucked up are like synonyms, right? Wait, what? Where's Kane's entrance? New metal staying relevant a few years longer was worse than World War III? No. No. No, you don't need to check your bank balance. Really, you don't. Wisconsin leveled Gary, Indiana, and nobody noticed.
They may be brothers, but they won't hesitate.
Fair enough.
To tear each other limb from limb. A vicious stomp.
So, like, what exactly is crazy about this here storyline? Keebs. I gotta know. There you go. Cock and ball torture from Wikipedia. The free encyclopedia.
Just looking at it.
The free encyclopedia at WWE.com. Also, in this timeline, MySpace still fucking dominates. There's like this website, right? In where like you can create like a whole bunch of like really early GIFs. I don't remember the name of it, but like I'm pissed I can't remember the name of it. But essentially, like you can create like the most hot topic ass GIFs imaginable.
What a nasty
like with sparkles and like big like letters and like a whole bunch of different fonts, and like adding like little blush effects onto like various wrestlers or like, you know, whatever other people you have in there. I'm pissed I can't remember it because like I just sound like a crazy person.
He slipped out of that one.
I just sound like a complete and utter maniac speaking about this. Also in this time, MySpace still dominates. So wait. In this universe, is there a war between Wisconsin and the rest of America, or is that just not a thing, right? Is that just not a thing?
A vicious stomp.
Here's the reversal.
No war. The cheese never secede. They never ever do it. The mayor of Knox County being controlled by WrestleMania 25's Divas Battle Royal winner, perhaps. That is a cursed fucking sentence. Do not say that again. A vicious stop. You gotta stop the damn match, Michael. Okay. Shit. Good lord. Stop. Ow.
I think he's through.
You're playing around. Remember these fucking lines, chat.
Just driving the point of the elbow.
This right here is my special interest. This right here is what the Tism emote is in there for. You know?
Did you hear that? What impact? It's apparent these presents were not brought.
Where's the Christmas creature though, Moggle? I couldn't find him backstage.
Oh, what a vicious jab with the right.
Did you know that he beat Roman Reigns
Textbook reversal.
twice for both world titles? John, what are you talking about? What the hell? This is so hard now, chat.
He's got some bad intentions in mind for that security wall.
This is so hard now. And then force Reigns to be his tag team partner.
Right here.
We call it... Dude, forget the island of relevancy. It is now Christmas Island. Presents ahoy, indeed. What the fuck? They just reverse all my stuff. All of it. Fuck you.
What a counter that was. A vicious stomp.
Good lord. Stop. I'm actually going to kill you. Take this, brother. Take this, brother.
What a counter. A swift kick to the opponent.
Stop.
Vicious shot with the knee. What can Undertaker do here? He's dealing with powers he's never faced before.
Come on. I'm pretty sure he's faced a feud in where, like, you know, the AI with unlimited reversals and menaces. Holy shit! I just shut him down. No, I did not want to do that! No way. Fuck you.
Kane definitely seems to be in a possessed, trance-like state. What will the dead man need to do to snap his brother out of this? Oh, the punch connects.
I just love how Jonathan Coachman never has anything to say, dude. He just doesn't give a flying fuck about what's going on here. Michael Cole saying a vicious stomp is a vivid memory when I play this. And not in a bad way. It made me laugh for some reason. Listen, I'm such a dork for these games. I can tell you, like, when they're reusing commentary, right?
Did that do it? Is Kane okay?
Like, I think he's through playing around! They've been using that line since 06. Well, technically 05, but, yeah.
It looks like Undertaker has freed his brother.
Kane, even when a zombie could do a collar and elbow tie-up. And it's like the biggest frown of all time. Ain't no way you just make the tombstone pile driver a transition move. Listen, Undertaker's way ahead of his time, you know? Like, we see, like, the tombstone being pulled off by everybody now. Yeah, I was about to say, fucking Finley kicked out of 2 of them, you know? Finley kicked out of both of them. It is the transitionist of transition moves. It is the most trans move of all time. And you can't script that, brother. Oh, shit, I need more water. Jeez. So much pyro shaking the desk chat. We need a tombstone pile driver party.
Welcoming you to another evening of Smackdown. With me, of course, is my colleague, the coach, Jonathan Coachman.
New
What?
School's former monster is on the loose, Cole. For once, I'm happy to be here with you.
A furious Kane has challenged New School to a match tonight.
I love the still there. High school yearbook photo ass.
I get my revenge against New School tonight. If you want to come out with me, feel free. The more pain for them, the better.
Hell yeah, we do. Oh man. Okay. Well. Wait, I already saved. I'm good. Yes. Go back. Why does Undertaker not have a cell phone that is powered by the souls of the damned? Because even though that he is an undead man, and even though he has a magical urn that can make him weaker if he doesn't have it within his grasp, he can still only get 3 fucking bars. At this point, we only had 1G or 2G. And he is shackled to the mortal coil of Verizon Wireless. Truly a fate worse than death, chat. The souls of the damned gave him cricket. They gave him cricket wireless. Taker and Kane got that afterlife reception.
My name is Finn.
No. We need to mute this. We need to mute. Shit.
And the opponent.
Cool. I find it ironic how Santino was a comedic character, but he was also a legitimate tough guy.
326 pounds.
Well, like, God damn, that was fantastic. I know. We doing that every time, chat. Every time. But no, like, it's really weird because there's nothing funny about him here, you know? He's got, like, 0 comedy. I'm like Knuckles, right? I'm not chuckling. Because Santino ain't making me chuckle at all, you know? He ain't making me utter a hee-hee, a ha-ha, or a hoo-hoo. Hi, Henry. I bet Henry was in hiding when you were recording that.
There's the bell, and I think I see a hint of a smile on Undertaker as his brother gets some measured revenge on New School. Oh, the
Fuck you. And Henry's so cute. I know, he's so good. He's so good. But no, chat, that'll be a that'll play every time they come out. I hope you're ready.
Oh, that's just sick.
I hope you're ready for Henry is even chubbier now. I need to like get like an updated version of him, like you said. I know, but most of his career was comedic. I'm surprised that he didn't beat up Jim Cornette when he slapped him. I mean, honestly, that would have been really based of him. We need a new video. I need to get like multiple videos. That way, whenever anyone redeems it, we get like a new Henry video, you know? Because Henry needs to be showcased more. What the fuck? Chain wrestling on the outside with Santino?
Man, that must have felt like running into a wall.
Man, that must have felt like... Huh?
It's over.
What? Okay. You know what? Sure. Let's do this. Let's do this then. The ref is catching strays all night long, chat. It shows how much of a good guy he is. Even turned the other cheek to a jackass like fucking Jim Cornette. He is a better man than me. I will say that much. I'm not one to make idle threats, right? Or make threats on twitch.tv/giraffe stuff. But if I saw Jim Cornette in real life, I would at least, you know, give him the eye. I give him the signal that says, I don't like you. You should not try and talk to me. Did fucking Cornette even realize that Santino could have ripped out his arm? Could he? Like, is he actually, like, a tough guy? It's like, I know that you said that, but, like, you know, like, in my head, that's a little hard to believe, right? Just, like, knowing who he is. That's, like, weird to me. So, like, are we gonna continue, or what? Are we gonna, like, keep this going, or... Dude, this faction sucks. This faction sucks dog doo-doo. You can't do anything. I have this game on the Wii. I heard that, like, on the Wii, this is, like, actually, like, kind of a fun game. Because, like, there are, like, mechanics on it. Okay, well, I needed them to attack me first, I guess. He is the founder of an instructor at Battle Arts Academy, a martial arts and professional wrestling training facility in Ontario, and the official ambassador of Judo Canada. Here's the thing, Cornette can be funny and he's brilliant, but his outspoken nature is going to get him in a lot of trouble. I would say that his transphobia is going to get him in a lot of trouble, buddy. Like, that shit don't fly with me. Never will. And just his general LGBTQ plus phobia. That's more or less thinly veiled. Let's come out a few times. He's the most strange leftist I ever heard. What, Cornette? Or Santino? Or Santino. Yeah, like, listen. I pride my space on being safe for the LGBTQ plus community. To that end, it's not safe for Cornette. It's not safe for Cornette. Let's just say that. Unlike him, the Long Boy Club is based. That being said, he has had good moments throughout the history of wrestling. That much I will not take away. Also, dude, this faction sucks ass. Every single time that they've, like, tried to get one over on me, They've either needed the urn or they needed to like DQ me or like, listen, they had Kane for less than one episode of SmackDown.
The Brothers of Destruction are back together and teaming up tonight.
They're sports entertainment's most dominant duo, and we'll see them in tag team action.
They suck so much. They couldn't even have their heavy for more than one night, chat. What do they have up their sleeve? I mean, besides Becky Lynch, but listen, we've already established a tag match. Yeah, playa. We love new metal. Have you ever heard of Limp Bizkit, playa? I'm personally a fan of Korn myself. Or maybe Deftones? You're going one-on-one with the Deftones, playa. Okay. They're just throwing me jabronis this whole time, dude. They're throwing me jabrones this whole fucking time. Always ready!
Long Island, New York, at a combined weight of 430 pounds.
Hell.
The team of Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder.
Okay, but like, what's their name? Oh no. This really is the worst timeline, chat. This actually is. Are you hearing this music? La Familia versus the Brothers of Destruction. I was so ready to put the music back on. That is Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder in 2008. I know, they're completely unrecognizable from this now, right? Especially Matt Cardona, right? I mean, like, Brian Myers has, like, retained a little bit of this. Paleo Steno with the Long Boys,
Mario.
Girls, NBs, and AGs. Welcome into the
Mario.
Long Boy Club, everyone. Hopefully you had a fun night at whatever it was you
Mario.
were playing. For those of you who are unaware, my name is Rafasev. I'm the president of the Long Boy Club, the very large enjoyer of all things gaming, wrestling, other hyperfixations, and my stinky cat. Tonight we're playing Smackdown vs. Raw 2008. Rather 9, actually. And we are creating a cursed wrestling, we're creating a cursed wrestling universe. And where a lot of shit is happening, honestly. I'll explain it here in a little bit, but how the heck was Stream? How the heck was Stream? Mech, or Mods, in fact, can I please get a shout out for my friend Paleo, if you would be so kind. If you would be so kind. Yes, in fact. Oh, hey, cool. But yes, get Dolphin Hug Rate, get loved on. Thank you. It was good. I was doing post-game content in Cult of the Lamb. I need to play Cult of the Lamb, friend. I really do. I really do. I have it on PS5, but I've just not played it yet. Maybe we'll start it next week, chat. Maybe we'll start next week. But yeah, tonight we are playing more wrestling game. I'm trying to get to 700 followers tonight. If you have not done so already, and you like wrestling, if you like graps, goofs, role-playing games, strategy games, all that sort of stuff, please do consider following. I'm gonna carry this on here in just a second. But yes, my bread and butter is wrestling games, role-playing games, strategy, all that sort of stuff. I also know about ponies, yes. And your people also know ponies, Paleo. For example, Fave will always be Fluttershy and or Twilight. They fight over superiority in my head on a consistent basis. In fact, in my setup here, I have a Twilight corner and a Fluttershy corner. I call it I call it Twily Corner and Corner Shy, right? And Corner Shy is to my left, Twily Corner's to my right, and over time, it's going to become stacked. It's going to become stacked, but like it needs to get there first. But yes, if you're a fan of stuff like that, I would really appreciate it if you gave me a follow. I really, really, really want to get to 700 followers on this night. I think that would be incredibly cool. I do have a bit of a plan for next week, but if we get there, if we get to 700 by the time that we finish tonight, you know what, fuck it, I'll play Cult of the Lamb for the first time next Saturday. Next Saturday, I'll play Cult of the Lamb for the first time. If you think that one is disturbing, okay, that one is actually fucked up. That one there is a bannable offense.
For life.
Hey, thank you for the cheer, soundboard. Thank you for the bit. That one's actually a bannable offense. But no, like, if you need to raid and run Paleo, if anyone needs to go to sleep, eat, go take a piss, go do that. Go do that. It is a-okay by me. I'm happy that you would send your lovely community over here, Paleo. But for now, we gotta contextualize what's going on. We gotta contextualize a little bit. So, chat. Okay, I gotta get some sleep at some point, but thanks for the awesome stream. I hope that this timeline doesn't get more cursed. I hope to be back soon. Well, I hope to see you again soon, Keeps. Thank you for fucking showing up. It was fantastic seeing you here for the first time. What the hell is going on here? Yep, have a good night. Anyways, right now we are creating an evolution of what I like to call the Cursed Wrestling Universe. Because with SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, me and chat, we ultimately realized that a Cursed Wrestling Universe is boring. There is not enough that you can do in it. Now, a Cursed Wrestling Multiverse, that's something that's got legs, because you can do literally anything you want in it. Anything. Anything you can think of. You don't have any rules that you need to abide by. And, you know, if you think about it, you can do it, and you can have no repercussions for it. Just like any true storyteller wants. They don't want to have the repercussions, they just want to be able to do weird shit. So, that's exactly what we're doing. And through this evolution, we have created a single wrestling universe in where the state of Wisconsin tries to leave the US. And the only way that it can stay within the Union is if John Cena faces Montel Vontavious Porter MVP in an Iron Man match at WrestleMania. And of course, John Cena won, and Wisconsin, and its and its cheese farms, and Culver's, and its Packers, they all folded back into the Union. All of them. They folded back into the Union. And in this one right here, nu metal remains popular until at least 2009.
Hello, Mario.
Of course, appreciate. That's a follow from me.
Life.
Hey, thank you for the follow, Banquo. I believe is how you say it, or Banquo. Can you please tell me how you say your username? I don't want to get it wrong. You're now a member of the Long Boy Club for life. I appreciate you being here, my friend. And again, if we freaking get if we get to 700 followers. Kane just bodied the referee, dude. He just bodied him. Absolutely destroyed him. Good God Almighty, good God Almighty, he killed him. He killed him. Okay. No, I'm trying to leave the ring. I'm trying to leave the ring, please. Please. In this timeline, you can wear a cord t-shirt in public. No way, dude.
Here it comes. DDT.
It is a pretty fucked up timeline, honestly. I can finally wear the fucking shirt that I got at the Disturbed concert. It's been sitting in my wardrobe for years, but I can finally put it to good use. I can finally do it.
of counter that was.
And not have to wear a copious amount of Axe body spray to make it seem a little bit in character. and chug Monster Energy. Proof that WWE referees are disposable. What do you mean? He friggin' got clocked. He's about to walk, referee about to walk the fuck out tomorrow. I can't blame him. After a spot like that, that was not talked about in the back. That right there was meant for Zach. And the ref was... and the ref just caught a stray. What the fuck are you doing, Kane? What are you doing? What are you doing, Kane?
A picture-perfect backbreaker right there. Looks like the tag has been made.
This is no time to bring the Latino heat into this, okay?
He got the tag.
This is no time to bring Latino heat into the mix.
And there's the reversal. What a vicious shot with the knee.
And then you add Eddie Guerrero to the mix. Your chances of winning drastic go down. Shit.
There's the reversal.
People holding up saliva are awesome signs in the front row, and other people are impressed. People holding up saliva are awesome signs in the front row.
Quick reversal. Now, can he cap?
So, like... What? Okay. Yeah, get fucked, Zach. Not our Zach, though. He's cool. Never
it's time
Zach.
for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dude.
Shit! Smackdown soldiers on after this. Dang it. I don't know. I don't enjoy the timeline and where, like, saliva shirts are still, like, legal, right? I don't like that. That's a timeline I don't want to be in. Always, always, always.
Note to self.
God damn it!
Tap water at Jerry Garcia's.
Gex.
Hate Gex.
Is Gex's second Gex game.
That will get you Gex-sided, chat.
Okay, enough Gexes, except for this one. Gex
Hate
has
this.
personality plus. His wisecracks and random comments are amusing, even if the gameplay itself does not reflect this jocular style. To put it simply,
Chad, have
Gex
you
has
ever
very
met a
nice
person
3D
in public
graphics,
that said
both
jocular
technically and
unironically?
artistically. Sucky control of movement and tough challenge.
That is not a word
Is
people
the
say.
game worth buying? Well, yeah, well, maybe. This
I'll be
is a
honest,
tricky
Chad. I
one.
almost don't
The
want to hit
superficial
700
qualities
tonight
of,
because
well,
we're currently at a
Hello, Mario.
pretty solid
gorgeous as
number.
expected.
Hey,
The graphics
MC
are good.
Bone, what's up,
The
man?
character is cool. But this game is just another 3D
graphics
romp
are
that wishes
good.
it could be Mario 64.
Shit's pants.
It's a good game. One you should check out.
What
but
were they
not
think?
stellar.
No,
The
actually.
game's biggest
I
fault
mean,
is
like,
the camera.
I mean,
Arguably the
unironically.
worst camera ever in a video game.
You can't be saying
Even
it
with
just
3D
because
Om
we
nom
said
nom.
it. That's,
Oh, excuse me,
that's
we're
not how
back,
it
my
works.
dudes.
Welcome back to Raw, by the
Control
way.
gets a D. Difficulty
Dab.
gets an A. And design gets a B. Now let's hear some of Gex's goofball, off-the-wall sound bites.
Let's hear him,
Memo
chat.
to Gilligan. Try building a raft. The
Hold on,
princess
I'm
is
gonna-
here. Tension level. Ooh.
I got something in mind.
Roseanne.
Just wait. Cool.
Hey, monkey.
Hey, monkey.
Wow, that's real scary, guys. A floating toilet. Welcome to this week's episode of Touched by an Uncle.
And that's it. You don't need to hear anything else. That's it. There's nothing more. These jokes are relevant in 1970, not even when this game was made. But what about that last one? That was pretty weird. But yeah, hey, Bone, what's up? Hopefully you're doing well, my friend. That caused an eyebrow raised from me. What, in fact, were they thinking, chat? Gex 2? More like Gex too bad. What were they thinking?
Striking elbow, staggering the opponent.
Okay, I was about to say, this right here has to be the finish.
So much
It's over.
Tombstone pile driver. How many superstars have fallen victim to that over the years? He's going for the pin. 3.
I was about to say, the referee better not stiff me. He better not stiff me on that one. You know, just because my brother laid him the fuck out. Just because he laid him the fuck out in the middle of the ring there. Alright, I'm gonna hop on VR chat. You have a good night. I shall run a thick cat lady. LMAO. Have a good night, bruv. You have a good night too, T-Brain. Thank you for sticking around, man. I'm just lurking. Cool. Okay, chat. I gotta take a bit of a break, unfortunately. Oh, they have a unique, like, thing here. I accidentally killed a shiny pal. How could you? You'll never get a chance at that again. You only get so many shiny pals in your life. That was one that you'll never get back. Anyways, chat. I need to go and get water and take a pee real quick. So, before we continue, I'm gonna go do that. Thank you all for hanging out tonight, by the way. And again, thank you to Paleo for the massive raid. It was super, super cool of them. But yeah, I gotta go and pee. If you haven't done so already, I would really appreciate a follow if we get to 700 to... Oh wait, hold on. We gotta watch the cutscene. Hold on.
Welcome to another installment of Smackdown. With no way out, days away, we have a blockbuster announcement. The Brothers of Destruction will take on New School in a...
Oh boy, I can't wait to squash them again.
We knew this rivalry was getting hot. At No Way Out, it's going to explode.
As a warm-up tonight, members of each team will face off in singles competition.
What? So wait, do I need to face, like, Santino again? No way, dude. Nah. Nah.
Kane gets a big win in this match.
Okay, no, I need to face Finlay.
Careful later tonight. I predict a little payback by New School.
What? Okay. Cool. Well, oh, wait, hold on. Why are these guys getting so many chances? I don't know. This team sucks. It's terrible. Okay, I like this. I don't know why, chat, but in my head that was like barnyard coded. I don't know why.
Man is coming to destroy you, Undertaker, and he'll sacrifice anyone who gets in his way.
What? Okay. Send New School a message that nobody is more brutal. Make Finlay bleed in the next match. Okay, well that should be easy. I don't know why they're getting so many chances, dude. They suck ass. They've done nothing but take Becky Lynch. Listen, if the payoff isn't 2008 Becky Lynch, if it's not Rebecca Knox, who cares? Who actually gives a fuck, right? Who cares? I'll just spin my Korn CD and wear my Deftones t-shirt and just pretend it's like 1999 again, right? That's what I'll do. Much like how I'll go take a piss. Much like how I'll go take a piss. We'll be right back. Raw rolls on after I go and get water and pee. I'm not gonna lie, chat. I can't believe that we're already at like 2.5 hours. What the fuck? This isn't a time is a flat circle moment, obviously, but like this is a can time chill the fuck out instance, right? Can it just like chill like for 1 second? I would like that. I like that, chat. I'm pretty sure you would like that. We'd all like that. Okay, but enough lollygagging. We gotta get out there for the boys, brother. Lace up the boots. I gotta make Finlay bleed all over the canvas for this bullshit.
My name is Finley, and I love to fight.
But no,
The following contest is scheduled for
looking up Santino, I found out Ariana Grace is his daughter and never realized how old he is. Who is Ariana Grace?
Finley.
And how old is, oh wait, hold on. Fuck.
You feel that?
I gotta be consistent, chat.
Ah, shit.
It's new school. NU school. The timing is so good. I know. I was so scared that we wouldn't get to the ooh ah, but we did. We did. It's always good. It's always good, chat. It will never not be good. Alright. Alright, let's make this J-Brome bleed.
This may be a warm-up match for No Way Out, but I expect fireworks to fly here between the Phenom and Finley. Submission hold locked in. We may see a tap out right here.
My favorite part...
This will take a lot of the fight out of him.
What the hell is... I just love how Jonathan Coachman contributes nothing to this commentary. He contributes nothing to this road to WrestleMania in terms of, like, commentary here. Dog shit.
Solid wrestling. A vicious blow to the opponent. After witnessing Kane's destruction of Santino earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if Undertaker tried to top his brother in a showing of all-out brutality.
A textbook reversal.
Alright, chat. I'm gonna go ahead and, do this, if that's alright with ya.
Driving the knee into the opponent. Oh, the hand connects with the throat.
Well, that's really good, it is. The legendary giraffe step, let's go! Like it's beast, it's been a while since I've seen you here, man. What's up? Chat, why does this work? Why does this work, chat? This makes no sense. It's my favorite Pokemon. What would we call a Finley and the Undertaker Pokemon? Finlizard. The Undertaker is a dark type Pokemon. And obviously Finley is I mean, Finley is a normal type, right? He's a normal / fighting type Pokemon.
What a counter.
Who will win? I love it's my favorite Pokemon. Finless and Undertakerzard. Oh, there you go, chat. That's the color we want. Yep, I'm glad to see you're streaming. Yeah, man, I have not stopped. In fact, I've only gotten better. In fact, I would say. I've only gotten better. We over here are thriving, you know? There you go.
This match is done.
Needs to have like the Pokemon victory sound, chat. Needs to have the victory sound.
Another win for the Brothers of Destruction, and another eerie calm afterwards.
You have gotten better, hell yeah, I know. Get that on the soundboard stat. Alright, hold on.
weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss it.
Pay $50 for it, yeah, Marks. All right, well, I gotta note it down somewhere. Then I gotta like note it down as like a to-do for later. Either that, or I just go and grab it right now, like while we're waiting on stuff. I can do that. Why not? So that's Pokemon. It's Pokemon Emerald, right? Pokemon Emerald Victory. Cool, I now have their entrance animation. Victory theme. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. That is not the victory music. Victory. Wild Pokemon. Right? This is such a fun visual. I like that. We'll take it. We take those. I need to like have victory music. Have it played SVR 2008 or 2007. Rather, 2007 has always been my fave. This is 2009 here. But curiously, have you played 08? Or 09? I mean, neither of them are particularly the best. Jesus Christ. But 2007's pretty goated, yeah. 2007 is very goated. I need to create like a separate folder on my stream deck. It's like just like victory music. I bought the Erd online. Why, yes, I'm a mark.
Against new schools, Finley and Santino.
It's cunning versus brutality, size versus skill. With virtually no rules, the matchup is too close to call.
It is not... Jonathan, you are blowing smoke, dude. The whole time we've been beating their asses. You are blowing some massive smoke, brother. Have you not been seeing how much we've been handing these guys' asses to them? That's a Vince line if I've ever seen one. Pokemon Victory. Here it is, chat. Yeah, but in this one you can't kill security guards and builders. What's this?
The man is ready to meet you, Undertaker, but I don't think you're ready to meet him.
I love how they feel the need to mention mail. Oh, my bad. I have played 2009. Enjoyed that game quite a lot. It's alright. I mean, like, I enjoyed playing it a little more than I did 09. Jonathan Coachman is too exhausted by this whopping 11-second run in the 2006 Royal Rumble. He's still recovering from that 2 years on? Dude, come on. Get with the program. Get with the fucking program. Oh wait, hold on. No. Shut up. Shut up, Finley. Amazingly, the year prior, he lasted 13 minutes. Why does it fit more every time, chat? It fits more every single time.
The opponents, at a combined weight of 628 pounds, the Undertaker and Kane.
Perfectly timed. I know. It's fantastic. Again, new metal lives on in this universe. New Metal lives on in this universe, and there's no war between Wisconsin and the United States. But secretly, there is a war over which European nation loves Limp Bizkit more, right? It's either Italy or it's Ireland. It's one of the two. I don't know, I should probably call up a couple of my Irish friends and be like, hey, what's your thoughts on Fred Durst? Oh, fuck. What's your thoughts on Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit? Right? Wait, can I see Kane? No, I can't. Where is Kane? I know who's coming, but I won't spoil it for those who've not played it. It's been years since I played this, so yeah, I would like that to not spoil it. They immediately hang up on you. Listen, I'm gonna message Phoenix and be like, do you know about Korn, Limp Bizkit, and Deftones? And she will immediately unfollow me on every platform. I know it. Oh hey, I can see my brother. My brother. Let there be fire. Ah! I'll message Shay and Phoenix in the server, and they'll just want to immediately disassociate. There's like no fucking way that they're gonna take that. There's zero chance.
The wait is over.
Alright, here we go. One more time, chat. Darkness and Fire type versus Fighting and Italian type, I guess. Let's go.
Brothers of Destruction now get to tear New School apart in this hardcore tag match. And this one's gonna get ugly fast. And there's the elbow.
Meanwhile, Jonathan Coachman's already fucking asleep. I forgot to ask what's your rating for this year's Royal Rumble. I thought it was pretty good for
Hello,
the most
Mario.
part. Hello, Guo. How you doing? What the f- Okay. I just no-sold that. Whoa, okay. Never mind. Kane is a fire and physics type Pokemon. Holy shit! We're just being the piss out of Santino.
He's swinging for the fences with that sledgehammer.
Holy fuck.
There's the clothesline.
That's like actually insane. I would say that this year's Rumble was probably better. Yeah, like I would say it's better than some of the recent ones, right? Hey, you! Hey! No. Okay, well that was actually kind of a sick little sequence there. The Fighting Irish Bastard.
Hello, Mario.
Holy shit. Warhorse! What's up?
He's going for the pin. No trouble getting
Yeah, like, I would say that it's probably better than, like... That was a dirty move from Finlay. Fuck you, ref! Okay, well why did I get, like, special meter from that, but, like, at any other point in time, it's just not taking it.
That'll leave a mark. Submission hold locked in. We may see a tap out right here. What an incredible choke slam. There's the cover.
Brother, help me. Help me.
Oh my, just bursting those capillaries in his chest.
But no, like, I would say, like, I thought it was pretty... I thought it was pretty solid. I don't want to spoil anything for a couple people in the chat right now. But I do think it was pretty good. However, I do think that the Women's Rumble was better. I just think that like, it was just kind of a more solid Rumble overall with a clearer through line. Not the clover leaf. No, it was like 10 times better.
How many superstars have fallen victim to that
What?
over the years?
Wait, who's he counting? Who's he counting? Yeah, baby, let's go. Finley got screwed, dude. Dude, but it doesn't matter because we win. You had the cover first.
The Undertaker. How should I know? It was a brutal match.
Out comes Paul Bearer. Oh yes. Oh yes. Damn, boy. What? No shit! No fucking way! The Boogeyman? The Boogeyman? No way! That's insane, dude.
I'm the Boogeyman, and I've come to get you, Undertaker.
What the fuck? He is a member. He is the leader of nu metal. Let's go. He has all the Deftones shirts. All the Crazy Town CDs. All 2 of them. What? What does that do? Boogeyman? No way. Is he the man? Oh, he's the Boogeyman. I get it. That's actually insane. Okay, cool. What? The Boogie Man. The new Boogeyman. The new Boogeyman. I don't just like Deftones and Linkin Park. I also like Slipknot. He completes it. He's the fucking Corey Taylor of this group, I guess. Boogeyman is now boogieing out to Saliva. He's got that like fucking debut Slipknot in Iowa just like blasting into like his 2009 AirPods, right? The biggest push Boogeyman ever had was in a wrestling video game. No, I know. You know what? I take back what I said earlier. This shit is actually, like, insane. I take back what I said at the beginning. This is actually nuts.
At No Way Out, we found out who the man is. With him at the helm, New School
I can't believe Boogeyman is the leader of Slipknot, dude.
seems almost vulnerable. The Undertaker demanded and got a ladder match tonight, with a mystical urn suspended high above the ring.
Can't wait to see Boogeyman come out to his new theme. I feel the hay rise up in me, bear down and feel the stone of leaves. I wander right where you can't see, inside my shell I wait and bleed. I don't know, chat. I like Santino. I want to beat the shit out of him for once again. Pick Santino. I did. This is okay. Okay. I actually take everything back that I said before. This shit is actually kind of nuts and fun and insane. This shit is actually nuts. I love how the meds are save game. Again, you gotta go to Rite Aid, you know? You gotta go to Rite Aid and get your stuff. Cool, he's the weaker superstar to beat. Well, like, listen, I wasn't going for it for that, because, like, both of them are complete J-Brons. Right? Listen, in the context of this group, Santino is Crazy Town, Finley is Deftones, and Boogeyman is Slipknot. Right? Slipknot... Either Slipknot or Linkin Park. Because, like, you gotta admit, like, he is the leader of nu metal. And so you gotta position him as a leader in the genre. So in that case, he's either Linkin Park or Slipknot. Whereas Finley, I would say that he's either Limp Bizkit or Deftones, right? That's at least how I see it, chat. If you lose to Santino, I'm unfollowing. Listen, it's not gonna happen.
Now residing in Patterson, New Jersey, weighing 200.
He's Crazy Town.
Santino Marella.
Everyone beats Shady Shell Shock, okay? Everyone beats him. Oh, wait, where's his theme? No. I forgot, I'm sorry. I was searching my head for, like, something to keep the joke going. Okay, well, you know what, chat? This won't do. This won't do. That's not his theme. We gotta make him come out to his new theme. Win this match and I will stay as a follower. Oh, the Cobra's too OP. I get you. It took me a minute to see. Okay, chat. Here we go again. I have it at the ready. All is right with the world.
Shit.
Holy shit, what's with the jiggle? What?
Ow! Wah! Ow! Wah!
Can he beat the Cobra? Stay tuned and find out. Also, while the Undertaker makes his entrance, I do want to point out, chat, I've got new emotes. Some of these are made by Mex, some of these are made by my good friend Phoenix Redtail. Here they are, right in chat right there. If you would like them, all you gotta do is subscribe to the tier 1 or above. You get all of them. You get all of them at at the first tier of subscription. And even if you don't, I just appreciate you being here. But, you know, I know how tough finances are, especially here in the US right now. But if you can spare it, you want to support the long boy, as I try to do a bit more experimentation this year just with different kinds of games, different kinds of streams, that sort of thing. I'd really appreciate the boost. I really appreciate it. Either way, I appreciate you all being here. Alright, here we go. Now chat, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What's the music? What's the music? What are we fighting to? And we appreciate you. Aw. 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 Well, where are we battling to, chat? We got that. We got this. Got this. Definitely the second one. Undertale. Oh, we got conflicting opinions. We got conflicting opinions. Well, what do I want? What do I want? I want Minor Circuit.
There's the bell. In this ladder match,
Because there's absolutely no way that Santino is anything above Minor Circuit. I'm sorry, but... Whoa! That clipped his nose. Wow. Glass Santino. Genuinely, though. He does honestly look like Glass Joe a little bit. He has that first opponent type beat. How'd I do what? Do what specifically?
Nope. And let me tell you, that padding doesn't soften the blow much at all.
Let me grab him, thank you. That flip over the top rope. I held a button and then I pressed another button. Okay, but for less of a snarky answer, genuinely I ran and I pressed the square button when I got to the rope.
I think it's obvious that he'll stop at nothing to win here tonight.
Springboards are a little weird in this because, like, in order to, like, activate them, you need to, like, hold the run button and be running, like, while you press the square button. And that applies if you want to do a standing springboard or if you want to do, like, you know, a running dive to the outside, you know?
And there's the counter.
No fucking way. I need to find a longer loop of this.
Hello,
chat.
Mario.
What a nasty elbow. There are no
Hey, Isold. I'm sorry. How do you say your screen name again?
For life.
Hey, Ketchernator, thank you for following, my friend. You're now a member of the Longboy Club for life. I appreciate you being here. We are beating the piss out of Santino Marella right now in this Isolda. Okay. I'm sorry. It takes me a few times to get someone's name down. Ooh. Killed him, chat.
So much on the line, who will figure out a way to get there first?
No prob. I have a friend who still doesn't say it right, LMAO. Well, that makes you feel a little
I
better.
hope this is over soon. No matter how many times I see this, I just can't get used to it. A physical match like this will take its toll. Victory is within his reach, but can he grab it?
Get up here. What? Okay, well, I guess that works. I just love how he had like a pensive look on his face, Chad. Did you see that? You had to like think about that spot. He fucking forgot about it, and then suddenly he remembered it like right at the last second. Also, I gotta say, chat, by the way, for those of you who have not followed yet, if we get to 700 followers by the end of the night, I will play Cult of the Lamb for the first time next Saturday. I already have plans for next Saturday, but I will push them back by a week, either by at least a week, if we get to 700 by night's end.
Oh, that's just sick.
Alright, let's fucking get this. Climb up the ladder, you piece of shit. Yeah, exactly.
What a counter that was.
Clip your knee. You know what?
A vicious blow to the opponent.
It's all just punches from The Undertaker. Hit him!
Oh, the hand connects with the throat.
Hit him! It sounds like he doesn't want to climb the ladder because he's afraid of heights. I know. Wait, chat. I need to know. Does he have the Cobra here? Does he have the Cobra? Also, I need to ask, what the heck is Santino doing on Smackdown? No? No.
I think like someone's been taking flying lessons. There's the elbow.
There you go.
Look at this. No fear on the face of this superstar.
Come on, you won't. Yeah, exactly. Let me do my taunt. No! That is not what we're agreeing on, Santino. Fine, you know what? I'll play that game. Ref, get out the way so we can do the spot. Get out of the way so we can do the spot. Okay, well, there you go. There's the spot right there. Here we go. Okay, well, there's no ladders anymore, chat. What? Get down! Neckbreaker, let's fucking go, chat. I love how we accept old school as a move. It's so silly. I am not losing to Santino, chat. Hey, you. Ow. I was about to lose to Santino, chat.
What a decapitating lariat. And a jaw jab.
I'm actually gonna send you back to judo school. But no, it is a very silly move. This is pre-Cobra Santino, right? I think so. This was like Honkameter Santino. Whoa! Whoa! Did you see that, chat? That was unbelievable. What the heck was that? Jesus Christ. Uncle Cole wasn't lying. He is taking flying lessons. That was so insane.
Look at that. He's almost got it.
Both of these superstars are determined to stay on the ladder. The title is only inches away.
Ah, fuck. Santino is taking his vitamins. The Hogan prayers, brother. AKA the ones he found at Rite Aid. No.
I think he's gonna fly.
What?
And a heap of impact delivered to that elbow drop.
This is actually insane. Why the fuck does he keep getting up, chat? Choke slam. Holy crap, look at how beat up Santino is. That's a lot of damage.
Come on. This is for the title. Reach for it.
There is no title on the line. Only my urn. Only my dad's urn. Because he's determined to beat you. No, he's not. He's so unserious. When your domestic partner asks you, what is this charge to Rite Aid on your credit statement? What the heck is the ref doing?
Just a devastating.
He's fighting invisible bees again.
The title is only inches away.
There's no title on the line. Fuck you.
How the heck do you get up from that?
I'm trying to like grab this, chat. This is actually annoying. This is Santino related. Isn't Santino related like 99? He won't die. I mean, if you go in there and tweak with the settings, then maybe. I'll go into my PS3 files and I'll see what's up. I'll see what's cooking.
He's putting that weapon to good use here.
Fuck you. Okay.
What a fierce kick.
No way.
Oh, that might be it right there.
You know what? That's a better finisher. We fucking love our neck breakers here, chat.
Oh, the punch connects.
The Undertaker doesn't, but listen. We like him. Choke slam again. It's the Earn Championship belt.
This has got to be it.
Where the fuck? Just grab the thing. Well, get out of here. I don't want to deal with you right now. Yeah, exactly. No! No! Hey, you! Okay, fine. You know what? Undertaker attached the urn to a belt with to a belt with a spinner. So what, like the urn just spins around?
Hello, Mario.
Busy Imp, what's up, man? Sorry. What is up, my friend? Hopefully you're having a nice night tonight.
Reach for it.
Sorry, having a nice night tonight, anyways. I'm trying to beat Santino here. It'll look great with the light in the urn spin like that. With the light in the urn to spin like that. Every single person will be blinded from like the nosebleeds down.
Impressive combination of moves.
Combination of moves.
Right here.
Drop toe hold.
But it's most certainly effective.
This is actually taking forever, chat.
Aren't going easy on each other.
I'm not a fan of this.
And can you believe that impact?
Wasn't the urn installed with an airship landing light? No, that's on the $700 version. If you buy the one from Walmart, it just comes with like a cat laser pointer. Fun for the whole family, including your furry friends. Just giving this man a concussion. CTE City right here. Please let this just be in the middle of the ring. I need this to be the fully special. Okay, get back in the ring. I dare you.
Inches away from victory. These superstars are beating the hell out of each other. 15 feet in the air. The title is only inches.
Fuck you. Get up! Thank you! Why can't you stay down, Sidzy, you know?
I don't believe it. This one's over.
I can't believe it either. And Undertaker's real happy about it. If you cheat and give yourself 700 real... 700 Real in Disco Elysium, you can't take the traffic light with you, and Roy just keeps it waiting in the shop for you.
So much grief.
That was like his kryptonite, Michael. Now he owns it.
But what about... What?
Wait a minute. Did he just give it back to New School?
I'm a fan of Crazy Town. What?
I'm speechless.
My feeling when I listen to Butterfly. What the fuck? Okay, cool. Me looking at my phone at night. Yeah, that right there's the new meme. That right there's the new, like... That right there's a new reaction meme. Is that what happens when you cheat in Disco Elysium, Ashley? Oh, fuck, Indianapolis. Oh, boy. Here we go. I gotta put on a show for these cretins. That was like the biggest test I've ever had to do, chat. Wow. That was insane. And of course we're gonna go up to 4 hours because it's me, and I enjoy myself some time wasting. It's my favorite item in Kingdom Hearts at the beginning. You can choose the sword, the shield, and then the fucking urn. He says I never actually expected someone to buy it. That's actually incredible.
At WrestleMania, I'm coming to get you. It's all part of my plan.
Imagine if the Boogeyman beat the Undertaker's streak, dude. Really strapping the rocket to this guy. Absolutely incredible. Chad moves of them. Boogeyman has a plan. He has a boogie plan, you could say. He's got this in the boogie can. He'll hit you with the boogie slam. Wait, that's actually his finishing move. Oops. It's not even a joke. You know what time it is, chat. I think if Boogeyman ended the streak, WWE would have been over well before this Vince stuff. No, come on. Listen. I would have bought a Boogeyman t-shirt after that. Oh yeah, by the way, this is their entrance music.
Ow! Wah!
It's so well timed. I know. It just gets better every time. I don't know how it happens, but it does. That is amazing, LMAO. It's it's like legally distinct disturbed. Legally disturbed. That's incredible, actually. What? Okay. What? Alright. Huh? Wait, hold on. What? 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 What is this?
Did the Undertaker just possess a member of New School?
I hate new metal, actually.
He's become a zombie.
I'm more a fan of NSYNC myself. This faction fucking blows, dude. It's so bad. This sucks. This is actually fucking dreadful. It's terrible. This is actually dreadful. It's terrible. Why have a faction if they're not going to do anything?
He anticipated that move perfectly.
We just spent like 2 months kicking the shit out of these guys. And we just had their number every time. The ultimate J-Bros.
Hello, Mario.
Between this faction and Bobby Fish, who sucks more? Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish still sucks.
That'll leave a mark.
I don't think anyone has sucked more than Bobby Fish, frankly. BF sucks indeed, yes. Okay, well, you know what? The only thing that can beat Deftones is the Backstreet Boys. Let's go. That's the only thing that can beat them. Come on, Backstreet Boys, let's go. Let's go. Oh yeah, the Undertaker wants it that way. He wants it this way in particular. Come on. Oh, there you go. Nice.
Smackdown has become the unholy playground of the boogeyman.
Zombie Marella. Yeah, look at him. Look at him. What the fuck? This is like actually insane. Okay. I don't know, chat. I kind of want to play more of this just to see where it goes. I kind of want to play more storylines in this just to see where it goes, but you know, I don't want to be like playing this for like 2 months in the year. I want to be able to move on, you know? I want to be able to carry on. No, come on, let's go. Oh, there you go. Choke him out. Choke him harder. Choke him harder, zombie.
The kick connects.
What to say? Swinging neck breaker.
Did you hear that? What impact?
An honorary long boy if I've ever seen one.
Can he take advantage?
This is better than Mecha Mummy versus Ken the Bob.
Oh, what an elbow
This
drop.
is actually insane. What?
Oh, I've never seen this executed better.
Neither have I, partner, and this might be enough to get the tap out right here.
Why the fuck does
It's
Jonathan
time for the
Coachman
90
just have no
seconds
interest
minute
in anything?
Cheetos break, my dudes.
Okay, well, Smackdown Soldiers on after this.
Well, that'll send you to the chiropractor.
Come on. Get up. Bobby Santino, get up. Hey. No. You will take the spot. I remember debating whether or not I should have downloaded a Bobby Fish CAW when the 2K22 servers were shining down. Didn't get him in besides his entrance in the game. I probably didn't miss much. I mean, like, it's Bobby Fish. You're not missing much either way. So.
A vicious elbow drop delivered with a lot of force.
Hey. Come over here and listen to NSYNC with us. NSYNC. Don't you like it? Don't you like it? Come on. See? Watch this. It's a real end stand if I've ever seen one.
Oh my, look at this.
Oh my!
What a hard knockdown, big time impact.
That really was an oh my if I've ever seen one. Incredible.
A swift kick to the opponent.
Fuck yeah, dude. We love our neck breakers.
Wow.
We love our neck breakers. Come on. Give it to him, baby. Boo. Boo.
The referee saw the tag.
We just been pushing Finley's shit in.
Vicious blow to the opponent.
What is the story on Bobby Fish?
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
He's kind of like Ryback, right? And like he's someone that thinks that he's like hot as shit.
Mario.
Hey, Virtually God, what's up? I can't watch AEW. Okay, so Bobby Fish has not been in AEW for like a good 2 years at this point, I think.
Step on up and see if you can throw
Right,
a
let's see,
giant gold ring
let's see if
around
you
the
have it in
boy's
you.
neck, ladies and gentlemen. Step on up. Come on, come on, come on.
Let's see if you got it in you. Ah, come
Oh,
on.
you missed. Or maybe
Got something in your eye?
You owe me $10 either way.
Undisputed Era recreation. Other than that, LOL. Basically, yeah. He's someone who thinks he's horror shit than he is. Like, I remember when the CM Punk stuff happened. He, like, challenged him to a fight on Twitter.
Undertaker and a member of New School just beat another member of New School in a handicap match?
The horrifying thing is, I don't think he jumped ship of his own accord.
Bam. So, like, this team's over, right? No way. Wait. Is this just how Santino is now? Is he gonna be, like, zombified for, like, the rest of this playthrough? Steph goes to the pay window again. You know it, sister. I'm all about that dollar dollar. No longer need you, Poppy. But yeah, he's someone who thinks he's harder shit than he is. Does Bobby Fish? Like he challenged CM Punk to like a legit fight on Twitter after like the whole Brawl Out stuff happened, and it just, I don't know. Like he did not have the stock to make something like that work out, right? It just kind of seemed like he was like trying to make the situation about himself when it didn't involve him at all. At least you don't need to feed Santino. True.
Taker didn't recruit him, no. He stole the poor guy's soul. He doesn't need an opponent tonight. He needs an exorcist.
Jonathan Coachman saying all these lines just feels weird. It always sounds like he's reading it for the first time.
This is my opponent for tonight?
So wait.
That's a little loco, but a match is a match.
He's just been like this? He's just been like this for like a whole week? That's fucked up. You determine what Santino does in the match tonight. Perhaps you should let Rey Mysterio win to further humiliate New School. Sure, why not? Fine. He even has his own graphic. Okay, well, listen, chat. Wait, no, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. I didn't read how to play, fuck. What the fuck? Even their own entrance. He wasn't washed or gone to the bathroom or ate. He just rotted. I know.
Ow! Wah!
Aw, damn it.
Ow! Wah!
We couldn't even get to the whole of the song, chat.
There's the bell, and Rey isn't sure what the hell's going on here as he stares into the eyes of his possessed opponent.
So, like,
Frankly, he wouldn't be the only one.
do magic. Do magic, chat. I never thought I would see a wrestling game that has the prompt "do magic" under someone's name.
A vicious stomp.
Santino taking one for the team. Okay, so like it seems like I can just make it so that Mysterio just like beats him the whole time. What the fuck?
Is there anything nastier than that move?
Santino's so powerful. I just gotta spam X, chat, or rather I gotta spam square. What the fuck? No! We'll waste your shit.
The force behind that headbutt was incredible.
No! Do as I say! Do my bidding! Do my bidding! Do it! Santino doesn't ride on planes to the venues anymore. They drive him in a hearse.
Keep your eye on this one.
There's the reversal.
Hold on, can I like see?
He was one step ahead on that one. And a jaw-jacking punch.
I'm not gonna lie, chat. This is actually a little sick. Why is Santino like level 99 all of a sudden? Santino, the Rey, I am like handing you this on a silver platter. You better fucking win those, dude.
Facebuster. I hope this is over soon, no matter how many see this, I just can't get used to it.
They gave him Super Cena stats 15 years early. They really did. That's actually like nuts.
What a knife-edge chop.
Do my bidding! Good lord. You will do magic when I say do magic.
That was like 2.5.
And there's leg.
But no, like, Jonathan always sounds like he's, like, recording this in one take. This is, like, just so weird.
What a wicked neck breaker. Rey Mysterio is one of the most versatile, high-flying superstars in WWE history. Even without Undertaker's aid, my money would be on Mysterio.
There's one not better than JR sounds in more rather than better than JR sounds in some games. I don't know. This is some pretty low tier stuff. No! No! No!
1, 2, 3.
No! Fuck you, Santino! God damn it! Okay, well we made Ray look like shit going in. He's so busted. What is this? Okay, fine. You know what? Sure. You now have consciousness again, I guess. What? Cool.
Undertaker has freed him.
Thank goodness. It made me sick to see the Phenom acting like some puppet master.
Okay. Ah, he got him with the stick chat. So, like, what is this? Is he, like, reaping his soul or something? Santino's getting completely just annihilated this whole time. I hated the Boogeyman so much as a kid. So gross.
At WrestleMania, your streak will die.
The Undertaker may be outmatched.
This is actually incredible. There goes that bonus objective. Yeah, I know. If Mysterio wins, player gets bonus. I know. I fucking know, game. But Santino just had to have Super Cena stats. Why wasn't he a main eventer, chat? Why didn't Edge versus Santino happen at Mania 27? That's my question. Why didn't it happen?
This is Smackdown.
You gotta think. You gotta think. For like 10 seconds and then never think about it again. This is a fucked up. This is a fucked up graphic, chat. What the heck is this? I love how wacky the story bits can be in the games. I mean, Santino could have won the Rumble or the Chamber. He's busted. He could have. He could have won the Rumble or the Chamber. Well, now I know why there's a bonus attire for him. Now my question is, why was it called New School in the sense of like brand new? One more time, chat. Actually, no, 2 more times, really.
My name is Finley, and I love to fight.
Here he comes. Homunculus, what do you think of this? What do you think of this, Homunculus? Tell me all about it.
Oh, shit.
Ow! Wah! Ow! Wah!
Great. But no, I mean, like, Santino could have won the Rumble or the Chamber. He's so busted. There's no commentary, chat. Cole was expecting Coachman to carry this shit, and he just stiffed him. There's nothing. He ain't got nothing for him, honey. All right.
Sometimes high risk reaps high reward.
Come on.
He
No.
was one step ahead on that one. That'll leave a mark.
Reversed. Can he take advantage?
It's like, what even was the SmackDown commentary team at this point in time? Was it this here? Because if it was,
shaping up to be a unique encounter between two dark forces.
Because, like, if so, I'm not surprised that fucking Vince stopped caring about it. I'm not surprised that Vince stopped caring.
A vicious stomp.
A vicious stomp. What'd you say, Devin, if you're still here? That, like, this specifically, like, gives you, like, flashbacks?
He saw that one coming.
What the? No! No, 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 no.
Oh, what a vicious
Fuck you.
jab with the right.
Ooh, there you go.
Might have had on the neck and spine. Undertaker overcame the power of the urn, but can he overcome the power of Boogeyman?
Santino could have run the gauntlet. Can he overcome the power of Boogeyman at WrestleMania, chat?
Oh man, look at
Can he do it?
He slipped out of that one.
Can he? Does he have a hope? Does he have a snowball's chance in hell?
And there's the DDT.
All right, here we go. Stop reversing my finisher. Ow. Ow.
Fierce kick.
Okay, what the heck is this? Is this like, oh, okay.
The Celtic Cross, that signature move that has meant the end of many of Superstar.
Okay, win.
Here's the pin.
When in this playthrough, how's that happen?
Three right there.
When exactly in this playthrough has that occurred?
Undertaker looks like he's about to write the final chapter of the Book of New School. But will Boogeyman close the book on The Undertaker this Sunday? How much more abuse can a human being take? If this match doesn't end soon, I think we might have a serious injury on our hands.
My friend.
He's bleeding all over the place. This one's getting...
My friend, I am not gonna lie to you. New School's days were over. Like, real fucking quick. What? Huh? What? Okay, cool.
Right here.
One, two, weird. Okay, cool.
Must come to an end. But I wish that match could have gone on a little longer.
My friend, you literally just said 30 seconds. Okay, fine. You know what, Michael? Michael, I know you gotta carry water for like both you and Coachman, so I get it. You gotta be a little contrary to yourself. Yeah, exactly. Get into the home, Finley. New School, my ass. You can barely walk. That's why you need a shillelagh. Oh, is it like a paralyzer sort of thing? Is that what the Boogeyman's little staff is?
And I got you, Undertaker.
Did the Boogeyman really just destroy the Undertaker right before our eyes?
You can't
Ooh.
man, Michael Cole.
Okay.
What's going to happen when these two finally go one-on-one at WrestleMania? Will the Undertaker still have his streak intact?
You know what? I want a road to WrestleMania that's about Santino. Fun thing is, we're actually going to kind of get that next time. We're going to kind of get that next year. Holy shit, dude. This is insane. This is actually, like, nuts. most absurd thing of all time here. Universe mode idea. Well, I do have something in mind for a universe mode, but we gotta get there first. We gotta get there first. But first, we gotta do the other two SmackDown vs. Raw games before we get to that point. Anyways, here we go. Here is the final match of Undertaker's storyline. Earlier today. What the fuck? Hell in a Cell? Well, okay. Okay. Sure, why not?
Undertaker, you can't beat the man. He will take your streak. He will take your soul. You can't beat the boogeyman, Undertaker. He's coming to get you.
Oh. I love the laugh.mp3 they've got for him. I love it. Love it a lot. Alright, chat. Here we are. Final boss time, I guess. And of course, he's got to come out to his theme song. You know how it is. You know how it is. Making supernatural threats over early 2000s voicemail. Go back to previous WrestleMania logos in the background of the arena. If so, that's pretty cool. What? This fits. Chat, this fits. I don't know how to describe this, but it fits. God, I wanted it to hit. Ow! Wow. This fits, though. This makes no sense. Ow! Wow. Now, unfortunately, this isn't the whole song. But it's enough. It's enough to where, like, we'll fucking be able to stomach it. I knew Boogeyman was older, but he's old. Oh, I knew Boogeyman was older than Taker, but he's. Rather, I knew that Boogeyman is older, but he's older than Taker. That's crazy. Yeah. The Boogie. Wouldn't that just be the Worm? Boogeyman was in his 50s and claimed to be in his early 30s. Other than claimed to be in his 30s, and they didn't check him on that? Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember this story. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forget. He has, like, a special, like, WrestleMania entrance. That's why he got removed from Tough Enough. Yeah, but they still hired him anyway? They still hired him even though he lied about his age? Not gonna lie. That's some real fucking luck right there. That's some real luck. If I were him, I would probably be blacklisted. I'd probably be blacklisted from the industry. But, you know. I'm not the Boogeyman. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't look like he was in his 50s. Is that because of the face paint? It might be kind of because of the face paint. He was 40 when the age limit was 30 for it. So wait, did he actually get, like, kicked out of Tough Enough? A brutal variation of the steel cage match in which the entire ring is enclosed within a 20-foot high-roofed cell. Victory is by pinfall or submission in the ring. Okay, yeah. Alright, chat. What song we using? What song are we using? I'm thinking World Circuit. Yeah, World Circuit.
Good God, here we go. And how appropriate is it that these two demons square off with a Hell in a Cell?
Quick reversal. Now.
I love how even at WrestleMania, Coachman doesn't give a flying fuck.
Look at this shot after shot being dished out here in the turnbuckle.
Oh.
Reversal. And a jaw-jacking punch.
About to say, chat, I don't think this one's gonna last like a terribly long time.
Tonight, the battle will conclude between these two unholy.
I don't think this one's gonna last very long. This will be the worst. This will be the worst Hell in a Cell match of all time. I guarantee it.
Wow. Great reversal. There's the submission hook.
Boogie was born in '64. What? That's insane.
About to see another one right here.
He's got to capitalize right here.
Oh my word, what a nasty headbutt. Oh, the punch connects.
Oh shit, that guitar's going way crazy. Alright, here we go. What are you saying, Cole? I don't know what you're saying, man.
It's a risky maneuver, but the risk pays off.
Sign of the week, eh?
You saw that one coming.
Shortest Hell in a Cell match of all time, baby. Let's go.
Pile driver. How many superstars have fallen victim to that over the years?
There's the cover. 2.
Hell in a Cell.
No fucking shot.
This one's done.
Dude, that wasn't even a minute and a half. Cool.
It's time for a 90 seconds minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Damn it.
Mania is still flawless.
My dude, imagine having all this build up on SmackDown only to have a 90-second match at WrestleMania. This man has nothing compared to Santino. He doesn't. Alright, it's time to go to TNA, little man. Give Carter my regards.
Oh my God, the Undertaker put the boogeyman inside that casket.
If you face the devil, you've got to be prepared for the consequences of losing, Michael.
Yes, but I can't believe this.
This man has a Legends contract for some reason. What's he doing? Is that really it? Like there's no bonus match, there's nothing like that. There's just that. There's just that. And he got tooth implants. Cool. Well.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Almost as short as the Missile Cell match. Hey, I see you follow the content. Alright, we got playable Boogeyman now. The weirdest, wildest WWE superstar is now available to you. Worms not included. Aww. Merchandising, most likely. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, like, he was in the recent 2K games. So maybe it has something to do with that. Alright, I need to check something. Where is Boogeyman? I need to make sure. Okay. Sure. Alright, let's compare that overall to Undertaker. No fucking wonder. Now, chat, let's compare this to Santino and Finlay. So 83, right? It's fine, Finlay. 87. Wait, hold on. Where's Santino? 83, about to say. So Finley was like more of a match for us than the Boogeyman even. Wow. Get sent to fucking ECW, jabroni. Not bad for Finley, no, seriously. Like, especially for this time period. That's actually pretty insane. According to Wikipedia, Ray has his own training facility in Boulder, Colorado, from which he regularly posts videos of himself helping others lose weight and get in shape. That's such a lie. Santino was like 104. You're so right. Listen, he needs the Undertaker's help. Otherwise, what is he? You know? Otherwise, what exactly is he? He's nothing. He needs the use magic command, chat. He needs the use magic command. Anyways, I think we're good for the night, everyone. This was absolutely insane. I feel like that the last one was a lot more crazy. That one was a much more crazy universe. This one is just us making fun of new metal, which, you know, that's all good and cool. That's all fine and dandy. But, you know, I think that the idea of Wisconsin trying to leave the United States is much more funny. Anyways, though, thank you all for freaking joining me tonight. This was fun. It's always great to have you guys around here for shit like this. We will be back on Friday for some more chill stuff. I'm probably gonna do just like a whole thing of City Guesser rather than swapping between Duolingo and GeoGuessr, because personally, I don't think that was as fun. I don't think swapping between two things like that is as fun. So that's not what we'll be doing next time. Instead, we'll just do one thing. We'll focus on one thing. For now, though, let's focus on finding someone to raid. Who haven't I raided in a while? You know what? I haven't raided the Zarkon yet. I haven't raided Zarkon at all. And he's raided me a couple times, I think. So let's go ahead and return that favor, chat. Let's go ahead and return that favor. Right over here, Zarkon. And he's doing a just chatting stream. But what exactly is he just chatting about? Something in the way she moves. Oh. This looks like a visual novel type beat. We'll find out when we get over there, chat. The first raid message. Onboy Club. Love. There it is. Right there, chat. Copy it over, especially if you have a subscription. Thank you very much once again for freaking joining me tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and start the raid here. If you haven't done so already, consider following the Twitch channel, joining the Discord server as well. We have a lot of fun over there, especially with our pony watch-alongs and just our watch-alongs in general, I gotta say. Follow me on all my shit. It's right there in my card. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all that is Giraffe Estev. And yeah, I'll see you all on Friday for more fun stuff. Stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, when you are in the Longboy Club, you're in it for life! For life! See you all on Friday. Bye!